Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. We're just a little over a week away from Christmas time. This will be our last podcast of 2024. Wow, we had a phenomenal year this year. The podcast has grown exponentially. So many people out there watching, sending in their questions and comments and everything every week. And we appreciate all the support. It's been amazing this year. Jason and I have had a ton of fun, and it's been great to come at you every Monday, but we need a break. We will be taking a break into the new year. There's no UFC anyway. So much stuff with families and all that. I'm sure everyone has the same stuff going on. So we'll take a much needed break, but we're looking forward to doing our last podcast tonight, aren't we?
Oh yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it. But more importantly than anything else, looking forward to the holidays, looking forward to seeing friends and families, looking forward to good eats.
Yeah, me too, big time. Yeah, can't wait. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just over a week away. That's insane. Can't believe how fast it's flown up to us. And have to get ready. Lots to do. We had a good weekend, lots of sports, but the one really awesome part of the weekend was last week, early part of the week, the Vancouver Bandits started really putting a push on to try to get season ticket sales, started trying to get a lot of people aware of the new season, when it starts, when it's happening. They've expanded from 20 games to 24 games this year, and they hired a social media guy that went on Instagram and said, we're going to give away some jam packs. And if you're in this area of the city on this day, we're going to be putting a jam pack somewhere in a secret location. We'll post it up on our Instagram page, and the first person that finds it gets it. So we heard it was going to be in Richmond on Saturday, and we went to the basketball tournament, the Dolphin Classic in the summertime. And we thought probably that's the location that they would put them if they were going to be putting them here. So we woke up early, had a few things to do, had some breakfast. Then we went to do some errands, thought we'd pop into the park and see if it was there. It wasn't there. So we went to do some more errands. I had to go to Canadian Tire and buy a few things. And on our way back, we were heading somewhere else. And I said, oh, we'll slide in there again, take a look. And just as we're driving in, we saw this guy walking away from the basketball court, and he had a lanyard. We had seen the lanyard that he had tied on to a hoop somewhere in Surrey or Langley or something, and he had it hanging from his belt loop. So I thought, oh, the guy just got it before us. And then I look and I see one hanging from the hoop in the court. So Lorraine jumps out of the car and runs over and grabs it, takes a look, starts jumping up and down. I'm still in the car, and it turned out it was a jam pack. So it's a eight game jam pack, and the guy was actually the social media guy. So he came over, asked her name, took a picture of her, said congratulations and everything. And so yeah, we're gonna be able to go to 8 games out of the 12 for sure. Hopefully, we'll be able to go to all of them, and a good way to kick off Christmas season, a little bit of gift giving from the Bandits to us. And yeah, we're pretty stoked. That was pretty fun thing to find.
Slow clap. Congratulations. Congratulations. That well done. Well done. I love how your timing couldn't have been better, because he literally just put it up. And then you pulled up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought you were going to go with, so we saw the lanyard hanging out of his pocket. So I said, Ray, cover me. I'm going to take that to the
tackle him, take him down, choke him out. Yeah.
Strong arm him.
Pull some jujitsu on the guy. And
he got out of there as quickly as possible.
Streaming out of the parking lot, leaving the guy snoring on the court there. That would have been amazing. Yeah,
that's awesome though. That's great news, man. That's
fantastic. We both thought it was him. He had been the guy that got it, but he wasn't like looking like he was excited, looking like jumping around, being happy. So all of a sudden I looked and realized, no, there's one right there. Go get it. So she just jumped out super fast and went and grabbed it. I said to her parents, I really wish I would have thought of videotaping it because I've never seen her run so fast and I've never seen her jump up and down excitedly. And she fist bumped the guy and took a picture, and it was like super fun. It would have made such a good video for us to put up for our site.
Yeah, man. That, next
Yeah.
time. But that,
Yeah.
the greatest thing is that you got it, you won, and now you get to go. And by the way, if your girl can't go with you, you know who to call.
Okay, will do. Yeah. First call to make. You're on the top of the list.
All right.
It's gonna be good. Yeah. Yeah. Can't wait for the season. Starts I think it's May 24th. And then it goes right to the I think end of July, I believe it is. Something like that. So 24 game schedule this year. Should be fun. Yeah, lots to talk about this week. Obviously, week 15 of the NFL, week 8 of the NBA, week 10 of the NHL. We got the UFC Fight Night, last fight card of the year. That one was from Tampa, so a lot of fun, great crowd there. Only a couple of college football games were on the schedule this week, but we've got a huge amount of games coming up this weekend, so can't wait to talk about those briefly. And the Heisman Trophy. I wanted to talk to you about that. That'll be interesting to break down. But off the top here, I want to talk about the huge Tyson Fury Alexander Usyk fight 2 that's happening this Saturday. Should be an amazing rematch. The Ukrainian Cat defending his WBA, WBO, and WBC belts versus the Gypsy King. He won by split decision in May, if you're not aware, and he had to relinquish the IBF belt because the IBF was trying to make him fight a mandatory challenger instead of doing a rematch. But 3 belts up on the line, back to Saudi Arabia. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait for the second one. And big upset, Usyk winning last time. Do you think he can do it again?
I think it definitely has the capabilities of doing it again, but that's only if Fury plays into his ego again.
Right.
Like if he decides to play Usyk's game, then I think Usyk will beat him again.
Right.
I think that's what's going to happen. But if Fury actually uses his size to his advantage, wears on him, grinds on him, I think Fury could definitely win the fight going that way.
Yeah. Do you see Fury adding some weight, adding some pounds where that weight might be able to wear down his smaller opponent?
From what I've heard, is apparently he's going to be coming in heavy for this fight, for this second time. So yes, so it sounds like that is the plan, to do that, to use his size and his weight to his advantage in this fight.
Okay, I'm seeing here oh yes, okay, I'm seeing here the weigh-ins. I'm trying to find here's the time. So the time, because it's in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, the main card fight time is happening at 8 a.m. Eastern time. So 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time. The main event ring walk approximately, and you asked me for this before on some of these cards because they're so long.
Yeah.
It's actually not going to be till 2:25 Pacific time, 5:25 Eastern time. So yeah, so lots of fights on the card. It's a very, very long card, tons of fights on it. So yeah, we're talking about, how many hours is that?
Yeah,
we're talking about 6.5, at least 6.5 hours for the main card, which is pretty insane. But yeah, so we're talking yeah, it'll be a doable time. That's pretty good. I'll probably wake up early and start watching some of the early card, have it on. The weigh-ins are happening on Friday. That will be great to see what Tyson and Usyk do weigh in at. That'll be able to be watched on DAZN at 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Eastern time.
Okay. All right. That sounds good.
It's available to watch worldwide in over 200 countries as part of the DAZN subscription there. So Yeah, can't wait. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. As I was doing some research and in looking into the boxing happening there, and seeing if there's any other boxing news, I came upon this amazing story about this guy Paul Labamba.
Yeah.
Do you know him? He
Nope.
is fighting for the cruiserweight title coming up this weekend. He is going to fight his 14th fight this year. He's 13-0 this year. He's only 18-3 overall. He started his career in 2021, his first ever professional fight. He's already 35 years old, from Puerto Rico, but he's fighting for his 14th time this year, this Saturday, which is insane. More than once a month. And yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing this guy. He's going to be sharp, no rust on this guy at all. And
Absolutely no
going
rust.
for the cruiserweight title.
Yeah, absolutely no ring rust. Like that's insane. So, and has he just been knocking out his competition? That's why he's able to fight 14 times in a calendar year? Because
Yeah.
there's no other way that he's able to do it if he's not doing it.
Yeah, no, he's been finishing guys early all the time. And yeah,
Okay.
yeah, unreal. Yeah.
It's
So
unreal.
yeah, a fighter to look out for sure. It should be interesting to see. Also in fight news, some really good news just got broke this week. A new MMA league called the Global Fight League is finally coming together. They've been able to make some announcements. They've been able to reveal some details about this. This has been, I'd say, more than 3 years in the making, possibly 4 years in the making, to try to put this fight league together. And you remember when you and I went over to the island? We went over and watched something called the AFC, the Armageddon Fighting Championships. And I knew the guys that were involved in that and put that together. Well, one of the guys ended up deciding that he was going to break free from that organization, and he was the guy that spearheaded the World Series of Fighting Canada. And so he was able to get that going and was able to hold fights all the way across Canada with the World Series of Fighting. Eventually, he started putting on the broadcast deals for many of these organizations in these fight leagues around the world. So he's went around the world and helped out many of these fight leagues come together. But his grand idea was how he liked the World Series of Fighting. He always liked a league. He always wanted teams. He always wanted fighters to all fight together on a team. And his philosophy is that most of us watch sports because we feel a loyalty to our team, and no matter how many people change over the years, guys retire, traded, guys get injured, fall off. You're always going to keep staying loyal to that team, not necessarily just to your favorite guy or your favorite people that play the sport. And I think it's a smart philosophy. So far, the league fighting hasn't worked in some other entities and some other promotions, but he's held determined to make this happen. He has been finally able to get the financial backing and a hell of a lot of fighters on board now that have signed contracts with the organization. They're going to have a draft on January the 24th. They're going to have a draft. There's going to be 6 teams globally, and then they're going to have 10 weight classes, 2 weight classes per, or 2 fighters per weight class. So 20 fighters for each team. So there will be 120 fighters in the organization to start with. And they eventually want to have teams all over the world. They want to have teams in every continent and all over the planet. And it's it's very cool. I I think there's some great things about it, and there's some things that I have some questions about. I'm going to try to get him to be a guest with us on the podcast in January before this draft or right after, depending on how it can work. And I'm really looking forward to it. I want to give you some of the names out there. These aren't the only names. These are the top 50 most followed fighters who have signed with the Global Fight League. I won't give you all 50, but quite a few recognizable names. So I see on the list here Tyron Woodley, Fabricio Verdum, Anthony Pettis, Alexei Olenek, Junior Dos Santos, Hector Lombard, Luke Rockhold, Vanderlei Silva, Alexander Gustafsson, Thiago Santos, Andre Arlovsky, Kevin Lee, Frank Mir, Alan Belcher, Eli Latifi, Jeremy Stevens, Marlon Moraes, Benson Henderson, Gegard Mousasi, Husamir Palhares, Francisco Trinaldo, Greg Hardy, who else? Philip Hawes, Robelis Despagne, Tanner Bozer, our Canadian guy, another Canadian, John McDessie, Felipe Lins, and Will Brooks, on and on and on. Quite a few guys. Obviously, guys that have been in the UFC, almost all of them have moved on to retire. So they seem to be wanting to have the names, the guys that will garner some interest. I hope that in this mix there also is a lot of
up and
comers. Yeah, so that these guys can be on the same team as them and they can mentor them. And these teams will want to draft the guys that they think will enable them to, win the tournaments, win the fights, and win the whole league. So, a lot of these guys might be picked, might not be picked. I understand that they're already paying them a contract. And the thing that differs between the UFC, let's say, and this league is that guys get a monthly salary. They get paid every single month, no matter what, if they're fighting or they're not. They get health insurance, and they also have a retirement fund that's kicking in every month. Money's kicking in for them every month for their post-fight career. And they will, some of them will all train together. Some of them will still train with their own teams that they've been training with for their careers. But when they go to events, they'll go together as teams, and they'll have the ability to pick and choose which guys that they want to fight at these times. And I think it's an ambitious, very great idea, and I really hope it can come together with MMA, with many other sports. The more competition you have, the more ability for fighters to make money, for the athletes to make money, to have the ability to ply their trade. And the revenue is going to be a 50-50 split. Yeah.
Wow.
So that to me is really crucial, because you'll get buy-in from all the fighters that want to increase the revenue. They'll want to be on podcasts like this. They'll want to be promoting it. They want to be trying to sell tickets, trying to make sure that everybody knows about the Global Fight League, when the events are and what's happening, because the more money that comes into the league, the more money that they're eventually going to get.
Because they're business partners. They're business partners with the owners. And that's very smart. It's also very smart that they're actually having retirement fund. I have no idea if the UFC does that, but the fact that they're doing it that's groundbreaking. And I think that's why all the older guys who have gone through it all can now tell the younger cats they might be onto something in this league. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're onto something here. And by the way, with the 50-50 split, that's how all the other professional leagues are run. Although they have unions. Another big difference. Right? But that's how they're run. And now with the UFC, I think I don't know what the split is. I'm just going to pretend like I know 90-10, 85-15, probably worse than both of those.
Pretty close to those numbers, probably. Obviously, we don't have those exact figures, but the UFC in the organization is making the laundry share of the money, and the fighters, other than the top, the guys that are maybe the belt holders, some of the guys that are really moving the needle, they're getting paid huge money, but the rest of them are getting paid not a 50-50 split at all. So
not even close.
So So this guy's name is Darren Owen. I've known him for, I would say, approximately 15 years, something like that. I've known of his want to make this happen. He thought he was going to make this happen um, probably about 2 years ago, and the funding just wasn't there. They finally have secured that, and they've got a lot more pieces of the pie in place. The one thing that I'm hoping to talk to him about and hope that they can start, or they're able to reveal in the new year a broadcast partner. And that's something that they don't have secured yet. They're talking with people. They say they're going to have their own app where they're going to, fight fans of the league will be able to stream the service. But I think a broadcast partner is super key to enabling a league to make money, to keep flourishing and prosper, and not be just a 1 or 2 year venture. It can be something long, long, long into the future. And I don't like the pay-per-view broadcast model for the UFC. I've never liked it. I think it's a barrier to the ability for a lot of people to watch it. And it's unfortunate that they have secured so much money with that typically going forward, but I think it doesn't open it globally as much as it can. It has the ability to have way more people watching it than just the pay-per-view. So I'm hoping that they don't go the pay-per-view route. They actually find a broadcast partner. And we saw with the Netflix deal with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson that major streaming services are more interested in live sports. We're going to see on Christmas Day, just a little over a week from now, a couple of NFL football games. And I don't think we really would have even considered that was a possibility a few years ago.
No, we definitely wouldn't have considered that as a possibility. And as long as they have a broadcast partner that has literally global reach, since they're going to be a global thing, a global business, it should work out.
Yeah.
The streaming thing might be a little bit problematic, like trying to find the right company to do the streaming that they need done, and to make sure that they can handle the load of people watching.
Right.
Because we found with Netflix, when they did the Jake Paul Tyson fight, couldn't necessarily handle the load. So I don't know what that's going to look like going forward, especially with, as you were saying, during the holidays, they're going to do the NFL games. Okay, that's your major test.
Yeah.
Can you handle that?
Yeah, no kidding. That's gonna be the biggest test of all, because there's gonna be millions of people tuning in that day, and those are two very big games, and the NFL will probably look to split the deal up if they have a massive amount of issues with people having buffering problems.
Oh yeah, the NFL don't play. They like their fans being happy, and the money just keeps flowing. If that doesn't happen, it doesn't look good for Netflix.
Not at all. Not at all. Dana White today was on First Take. That was pretty cool. They're in Vegas. First Take was in Vegas for the NBA Cup, and so there's a lot of focus there. I guess Dana White allowed First Take to come into the Apex and set up their studio in there and broadcast from there. And he had some interesting things to announce. He didn't announce anything concrete, but he said, in 2025, I have something that you will not see coming. It is huge. It is massive, and nobody will see this coming. So that was kind of a teaser. The other thing is that he said that his first priority for 2025 is making the Tom Aspinall John Jones fight. And so that's big news. That's great that that's what he wants. That's what his focus and top priority is. And we'll see how much money it's going to cost them, and if they can make it happen, they can put it together.
That's the question.
Yeah.
Are they going to be willing to pay? Because John Jones could make that situation super difficult if he wants to.
Sure, of course, yeah. And then he said there's going to be focusing in on fighting in some locations they've never been to before. He mentioned Spain as one of the big crucial places they want to go to. Obviously, we've been talking about South Africa and a few other places around the globe. Georgia was one that he's talked about this year a little bit. And then he talked about some U.S. cities coming to Seattle in February, which is pretty great. Coming to LA in January. They're going to go to Chicago, he said. So some big events. And he said out of this 2024, he said it was the best year UFC ever had. And I agree with him. And he said the highlight for him was the Sphere. And he said it was something that nobody thought we could do. We pulled it off. Probably the greatest thing that he's ever been a part of. And he said that all the technicians, the TV people, deserve all the awards for what they did and what they were able to deliver.
Oh, absolutely. That was absolutely incredible. Like it. How about this? We're at home watching it, and it looked incredible.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even imagine what it would have been like to be there live.
No
right?
kidding, no.
Now, did he say anything about possibly ever going back there, or was he adamant like it's a one-off? We will never do this again.
That's what he said. Yeah,
way too much.
That's what he said. And he said, well, I'll never do this before, and it's been done. I'll never have women ever fight in the UFC, and he had it happen. I'm never gonna work with John Jones and his team ever again. He does. So you can take that for what it's worth. But he said, no, that's a one-off deal. Never gonna do that again. Too expensive, but we're happy. Happy we did it.
Yeah, man. You know what? I'm sure happy they did it, and I hope that that's actually not set in stone. I hope that they do it again.
Yeah, I hope they do it again.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, I hope they do it every couple of years. You might as well. They might not have made a ton of money that night, but they just raised the bar that much higher for being the top dog on the block and being the organization that can do something like that and pull it off. And why, if someone couldn't see it that particular night, you've deprived them from that for the rest of their lives. Like, somebody would have been maybe at a wedding that night, somebody at a funeral that night, somebody couldn't get out because the family said no or whatever, and so that's it. You deprive the guy never getting to see the Noche UFC or any kind of Sphere event. That seems dumb.
No, it does, and it's I think it's a little bit short-sighted. I think you have a great idea there where it's like it's just a special event we do, almost like a World Cup every 4 years. We'll do it, something like that. And I think that would be completely awesome because also too, as you've said, it sets the standard where it's like you guys always have to know we're always going to be top dog because we can do stuff like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody else can. But we can.
Yeah, exactly. Because we mentioned the Global Fight League just a few minutes ago. The Bellator and World Series fighting combined to try to take a chunk out of the UFC. We've heard, a lot of others have tried to come at them, and other leagues getting it all the time with the Saudis dangling money and trying to make it happen. It's something that they have to just say, look at us, we're the best, we always will be, always have been. And it's hard to ignore when you have special things like that. It's not just a regular pay-per-view or a fight night. It's actually something that we'll remember for many times, because it is actually hard. If somebody says, hey, you remember UFC 148? Not really, no. You remember UFC 216? Remind me a little bit of that, but you're gonna remember the UFC Noche from the Sphere. It's it's there. It's just there. The 100, the 200, the 300. Great. Yeah, we're gonna remember some of those ones that I, personally been to. Sure, I remember. But this Noche is is that one that's always going to be in people's memories and mind, and you're never going to forget it, I don't think.
No, you'll never forget that because it was just a feast for the eyes.
Yeah.
It really was, and it was just an incredible show, and it was it was just so well put together. It was awesome to watch.
Yeah, incredible. So, okay, a couple of news and notes. One is huge news that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is sniffing around about a $500 million contract right now. And it's pretty crazy. I know you heard this news.
Yeah.
Are you surprised? There's this much money for Vladdy out there. We talked about a $765 million deal for Soto, $700 million for Shohei. Now we got Vladdy sniffing around 500 million or more. Are you shocked?
I was a little bit of shocked. I'm going to be honest because in my head, I'm like, okay, so if he's sniffing for 500 million, right?
Yeah.
So is he a top 10 player in the MLB right now? Because that's what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Like if you're asking for that kind of money, you're not Juan Soto and you're not Shohei Ohtani. You know that, all right? But now you're in that conversation, top 10, top 15. That's that kind of money that these guys are going to get now. So in my head, I'm like, well, is he one of those guys? It seemed high to me.
Right.
What did it seem like to you?
Well, the thing about him is he's had 2 seasons where he was one of the best players in baseball, but he's been in the majors for, I think, 8 years, 7 years, 8 years, somewhere in that neighborhood. And so 2 out of 8 isn't equating to be the best of the 10. The top 10. You got to be consistently that guy year after year after year after year. And his inconsistency, his leadership issues, there's things that bother me about him, tying that much money to him and your franchise, and him not being able to deliver. Only so far a quarter of his career has he delivered. That's not worth it if you're going to be handing out that much money.
Exactly. Like you're looking for somebody that is consistently always right there. Right there. And I don't, like, when I heard that number, I'm like, I don't know if he's that guy. I don't know if he's there right now.
So do the Jays, if they feel the same way you and I do the Jays walk away from him? What do you do when you're running that organization? He's a talent that you're not going to be able to make a fair trade for. You're not going to be able to find somebody else to come in and replace him, player for player. So if you're Ross Atkins, are you saying, okay, see you later, we'll find somebody to take your spot?
Well, is he still under contract or is he free agent now?
No, he's still under contract. Yeah, he's still got 1 more year. He's looking for an extension after this one.
Okay, so I would say this. If they know that this is untenable, we're not even close, trade him. Trade him and try to get what you can, because you're better off getting something than nothing. And if you let him walk, like, that would be a real travesty towards the team and everybody that's a part of the Toronto Blue Jays organization. You can't do that.
That would be really brutal, yeah. They made a big announcement today. The WNBA is coming to Vancouver. They are going to have a regular season game here in Vancouver, August 15th of next year. It'll be the first time the WNBA has had a regular season game outside of the borders of the U.S. It'll be the Seattle Storm versus the Atlanta Dream, and really cool. 2 new teams coming on board to the WNBA this year: Toronto and why does the name escape me? Toronto and Golden State, I think it is this year. Coming on board. Okay. Yeah, Toronto and Golden State, and somebody else. I think it's Portland the following year.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay, well, you know what? It looks like Caitlin Clark has done her job well. I thought you were going. When you said the 2 teams that are coming up here, I'm like, Indiana Fever, the Caitlin Clark, and the Caitlin Clark. Oh man.
Yeah, that would have been a big coup, wouldn't it have been? Yeah.
Well, you know what? If she comes up here like that, you could say that those tickets are going to go up like a Taylor Swift thing.
True.
So now nobody can go there again. That's all.
Right. Yeah, it might be affordable without her, so might be a bit better for families not having her. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have wrote this down, but there is a Canadian girl on the Atlanta team. She played a bit of the schedule this year. I think they said she appeared in 16 games, and so nice to have her. I know a lot of Canadian basketball fans have traveled down and watched the Seattle Storm over the years. Storm have won some championships and had a lot of success. And I know some female basketball players that absolutely love going down and seeing the Storm and seeing the teams that come in. So good on Seattle for doing this and trying to attract more fans to their product north of the border here.
No, it's great. It's great. It's cool to see that the WNBA is growing, that they're taking advantage of this moment in time where that all eyes are on them, and so they're trying to grow the sport as much as they can.
On a lighter note, did you see the parade? The New York Liberty won the WA championship, and they had a parade in New York going down the I don't know, Broadway, Main Street in New York, and there was like nobody there. Like there was nobody. It was like less people on the sidewalk than you see at like 5 o'clock when people are leaving work. Like it was pretty crazy and bad. I'll have to post it up there. I don't know if they I don't know. I don't know if they superimposed people out of there or they just got this one little block where nobody was allowed to be because they blocked it off or something weird, but it was insane. There was nobody there.
Oh man, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's super unfortunate. Because like they're trying to grow it and you want to garner attention, but when you see stuff like that, it's like, okay, you still got some work to do. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
I have a feeling that it was an area that, nobody was allowed to. The cops had barricaded it off for some reason. And somebody just goofing around said, hey, look at the crowd. But yeah, it was pretty nutty, insane. I sent it to Barry Grant Jr. He's a New York guy. And he just laughed. He goes, yeah, nobody was there. Nobody was there. Yeah, we had a bit of a laugh at that. In some other Vancouver news today, the Vancouver Whitecaps announced that they are up for sale. They have decided they are selling the team, and it's a massive asset up on the sports landscape. It's obviously been a real struggle for the Whitecaps to get the following they need, be able to just be able to be competing, with the upper echelon of the league. I've had a lot of issues and troubles with the team and the ownership and the leadership because it just seems like we'll never spend the money to bring in the big talent. Miami just blew the doors off the league this year and increased the value of every single team by bringing in Messi and showing that somehow they're going to be able to do it. I don't know why in Vancouver we couldn't get somebody that's not Messi's level, which nobody is, but we're getting, people that are, just a tier or two below that. I don't see why we didn't ever do that. And they released recently the value of all the franchises, and Vancouver's franchise was valued at 420 million according to Forbes magazine. I've seen actually even up to 470 million valued from others. It's the 28th ranked team out of the MLS. Only Colorado is the lower ranked valued team. They bought the team for 30 million back in 2010, 2011, I believe it is, somewhere in there. And they had to spend, I believe, 40 million to actually become a franchise with the MLS. I think a couple of years later, they asked for 500 million for a franchise now. I think who paid? Oh, San Diego just last year had to pay a $500 million expansion fee to get into the league. And
Jesus.
Yeah. When the Whitecaps paid their expansion fee, That was
Mhm.
10 times what Toronto paid for their fee about 4 or 5 years earlier than that. So it's been growing up
Uh,
incredibly heavy, but yeah, kind of surprising. The only thing that I'm really worried about is that somebody comes in, realizes that the numbers don't work here,
Gets
and
them out.
moves them, and
Yep.
decides, some other American city has better facility, better revenue streams, better corporate buy-in, whatever it is. And I hope that the current owners prioritize and only want to sell to local people so that we don't lose our franchise completely, like the Grizzlies did years back.
Exactly. Like I don't know if they could work that within to the sale, saying that you can't move the team for maybe they'd have to make a compromise and say you can't move the team for at least a decade,
Right.
right? Or something to that nature, something to
Right.
that respect. Because I think that's what would need to happen. But at the end of the day, the reason why they're not as competitive as the Miamis or any of the other teams in MLS, the owner's not rich enough. Period.
Right. Yeah.
The owner's not rich enough. So,
Yeah.
like for a team like that, like one of the major owners, gotta be a billion.
Yeah.
Gotta be a billion so
Yeah.
that you can get the talent to come in and then you can compete. And if you don't have that guy or those two guys, it's gonna be real hard to do that.
Yeah. So yeah, Greg Kerfoot, I enjoyed him in the early stages of the ownership. It just didn't seem like they opened the purse strings enough and they made enough inroads to make this a very top level competitive team. I'm gonna miss that Steve Nash is not part of the ownership group. I really like that, having a local athlete, one of the greatest athletes to come out of this province in this area of the world. It's nice to have him involved. Obviously, his brother played with the Whitecaps as well, so he had that tie-in. But Greg Kerfoot, Steve Luxo, and Jeff Mallett and Steve Nash are all put the team up on the trading block. They're getting a massive return for buying it for 30 million,
Yeah,
selling it
massive
for
return.
close to 500 million probably. Nice return on your money. I guess if I got a few million tied up and I'm gonna get tens of million, maybe I do that because it's the right time to sell. But I hope they think of us and the people that live here that want to support the team, want to have the team in MLS for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, I think it's a benefit to us that Steve Nash is a part of that group
Right.
because I'm pretty sure that he'll push for that.
Yeah.
He'll push for something like that, anyways.
I sure hope so. Yeah. Yeah. We had a really good golf tournament this past weekend. It was called the Grant Thornton Invitational. I think it's been running for about 4 or 5 years. The Canadians, Corey Connors and Brooke Henderson teamed up. So this is a really unique tournament where the LPGA Tour and the PGA Tour have partners of two, and they team up and they'll have countrymen. There was a French couple. There was a couple from Chile, and they have a lot of well, it doesn't necessarily have to mean your partner's the same nationality as you or from the same country, but great to see Corey Connors and Brooke Henderson play well. They had a fantastic first round. They dipped a little bit in the middle part of the tournament, went into the final round 6 strokes back, and made a huge charge in the final 9. Could not quite get there, but ended up finishing fourth. Really fun to watch both of them play golf. They got along swimmingly, and it was very fun to watch. Very nice tournament, and I'm glad when the two tournaments, the men and the women, can get together like this. It's great it's great for golf because that happens a lot on the course when you're out there just playing on the weekend yourself. You end up playing with your mother, your sister, your friends, and males and females can play together. They have tee boxes in different spots, and it can work. It's a sport that people, men and women, can play at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, and it's fun and it's different,
Yeah.
all right. And as long as like there's an element of competition, obviously, but more than anything, everybody's enjoying themselves, and people are enjoying the fact that this is happening in a different sort of view, different sort of perspective.
Yeah.
And it's competition at the end of the day.
Okay. I'm going to mention some college football stuff now. Your thoughts on Bill Belichick becoming the head coach of the University of North Carolina?
Okay, so for me, I've always been a huge Tar Heels fan. Huge Tar Heels fan. And the fact that Mr. Belichick is going in there to clean up their football program and make it into a powerhouse, I think there's a possibility. But at the same time, I'm a little bit worried because we've seen Cool Bill on TV.
Yeah.
We've seen that Bill. I don't know if he's going to revert back to surly hoodie Bill, right?
Yeah.
So now it's just like, how are you going to talk to these young men to entice them to come in? Because it doesn't work how it used to back in the day.
No.
Now these kids are just like, well, how much money am I going to get?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's
right.
this is business now.
Yeah.
Which he's very familiar with because he's been in the professional realms, and now college is more moving towards that model.
Yeah.
But I have reservations on. I hope he's not too acidic, so that like people like he pushes away some of the top tier talent where they're just like, yeah, you know what, I'm good. I don't think I want to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's funny because that's the first question I was going to ask after I asked you what your thoughts were. I was going to say, are we going to see the Bill that seems like he's completely changed his stripes and he's not that tiger that ripped the media's head off week after week? And are we going to see this new fangled Bill that seems to be a guy that I can't wait to hear from because he's got a brilliant football mind. And he can be, funny with his stories and the things that he brings to the table. He's forgotten more football than I will ever know, and so I want to listen to the guy. But I couldn't stand when he stood up at the podium and he goes, we're preparing for Cincy. We're, it's just the media press conferences made me angry every time I saw his face. I would flick the channel and change it to something else, and. I hope he doesn't revert back to that because he thinks that's how you have to be as a football coach and the leader of a program.
I don't think that's going to work in the college ranks.
No.
I really don't. Like, I think he'll end up turning off a lot of the talent trying to come in.
Yeah.
I think he needs to be that guy that he is right now on TV. I think that's what he needs to lead with, and I think he needs to stay that guy.
Yeah. I think it was one of the years Tom Brady said that they were celebrating a Super Bowl win, and I kind of believe it was the first one. And they were celebrating, and Tom ended up getting in the limo same time as him as they were heading somewhere. And he said, Bill looked over to him and he said, yeah, Tom, you had an okay year. It was pretty good. I'm looking forward to next year. And Tom said, that was about as warm and fuzzy as Bill ever got to me. And he was like, that's it. That was it. They won the Super Bowl. He had an awesome year. They were the top of the mountain. And the best he could do is, you had a pretty good year. So, hopefully when he hears stories like this, and he had rejection from, 31 other teams 32 teams, I guess, in the NFL rejected him. Maybe it gave him pause, made him humble, made him realize, this act has got to stop, and I've got to change, and I've got to be a better guy to people and my players. And that transfer portal that opens, it also opens at some point in the season, and we could see a whole bunch of guys defecting other colleges and campuses, and he might be left with no guys to play at all if he treats them badly and doesn't praise them and treat them like men how he should.
Exactly, right? Like the whole like going back to the Belichick Brady relationship, I had no idea, because I've heard Robert Kraft talk about it, that he was involved in maintaining that relationship because Bill was so hard to get along with.
Wow.
Like the thing, like that blew my mind, that the owner had to always be like, Tom, it's Bill, right? You know what I mean? I need you, buddy. I need you to stay. Like, what are you talking about? Like, for me, I'm like, if I'm Bill Belichick, I'm like, I'm lucky to have this guy on my team. I'm lucky that this dude came out of nowhere and gifted me 6 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
6, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that it's just like, it was still so hard to play for him. It's like, no, buddy, it should be easy.
Yeah.
If there's one guy that you can count on, is that dude right there, Tom Brady. You don't need to question that. You can move on to other people.
That's why I'm very happy for Tom that he was able to get to Tampa Bay and get another Super Bowl and just be able to show his value to the world outside of being coached and mentored and controlled by Belichick. It's just so great for him to be able to do that and validate it so much better.
Yeah, man. Of course, it's the ultimate validation, which is this: I left, you didn't want me, and then I won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, that's it.
And the Patriots didn't win after that. Their record once Tom left
crumbled.
was just
they fell apart.
Yeah.
Because the best player that's ever walked into that organization walked on out because you didn't want him anymore. Well, Bill didn't want him anymore. I think Robert Kraft would have kept him forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, pretty wild. On the heels of this, I heard some really great news today as well. Michael Vick interviewed for the head coaching spot at Norfolk State today. Interesting. Another former NFL player throwing his hat in the ring. We talked about Andrew Luck last week. Now Michael Vick, and we'll see what comes of this. But great that the guy is trying to follow in Deion Sanders' footsteps as well, and join this team. We'll see. Norfolk State, don't know much about them, but he'll obviously put a lot of eyeballs on them. A lot of NFL players, current NFL players, their favorite player was Michael Vick. And their kids are going to be coming along soon, and they're going to be like, that guy. You want to play with that guy. Holy cow. He was the best for a few years there for sure.
Oh, yeah. He was absolutely electric. He was amazing. He was fantastic. But the thing that I don't know about Michael Vick is about his football mind. Yeah. I don't know anything about that. So I think him stepping into the arena like that, obviously he is confident in his skills and what he can give to the new generation, which I'm super curious and interested to see how that goes for him. But I think Deion Sanders' prime has shown that we can do this.
Yeah.
If you're passionate enough and you get into it for the right reasons, you can do this.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're right. That's a very good point. Don't know his football mind, and if he can mentor, if he can coach, if he can, has those chops. I guess I didn't know that about Deion before he went to Jackson State, and he's been a breath of fresh air and a total revelation for college football. And I think Michael Vick is following in his footsteps as much as he's following in Belichick's.
Yes, absolutely. And I think prime was actually perfect for this shift in the landscape for college into this NIL money. Yeah. I think he was literally perfectly positioned because I think he understands all of that better than anybody else.
That's true. Yeah, good point. Very good point. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the NBA. We've reached the final for the NBA Cup, which will take place tomorrow. It happens tomorrow afternoon. It'll be the Bucks and Milwaukee Bucks and OKC Thunder. The only thing that I've heard is that Chris Middleton is dealing with an illness and he missed practice today. Not sure about if he'll tip off tomorrow, but tip off goes 5:30 in Vegas. Should be really fun game. There's a light schedule tonight. I think 6 games on the schedule, 1 game tomorrow, no games Wednesday, and then back to a full schedule on Thursday. I think there's 16 games on schedule on Thursday, but Yeah, tell me about your thoughts about this NBA Cup. Should be one of the best games we're going to see in the regular season. Two teams playing incredibly well, and possibly the way the Bucks are playing now, possibly something that we see maybe down the road in a final. Maybe not this year, but possibly over the next few years.
Yeah. First and foremost, congratulations to the Bucks for figuring it out, because it didn't look good at the beginning of the season.
No.
And now they are on a tear. They are on a hot streak of hot streaks.
Yeah.
Their game against the Hawks on Saturday was a great game. Fantastic game. It was very, very competitive, very well played on both sides of the ball. But it was cool to see that the Bucks came through, and the Thunder are just they're a menace. They are so good everywhere. Like, they just come at you with waves, and it's just an onslaught, and they just keep coming at you.
Yeah.
Like, especially with their defense and everything else. I think it's going to be a great game. I'm actually super looking forward to it, because everybody's playing at the top tier right now, and Lillard seems to have found his stroke. Like, people are on the up on both sides of the on both teams.
Yeah. The one thing that I found very surprising and different about a game like this is that it's the first really, it's the one and only, these are the one and only neutral site games. So it's not a home game. So the home team does something really great and everybody jumps up in the arena. Everybody's on their feet for the last couple minutes. There was a block that Giannis had that was unbelievable, spectacular. One of the best things that I've ever seen. I don't know how he even came out of there and was able to get his hand on the ball. And the crowd noise was just okay. It wasn't electric like it would have been if it was in Milwaukee. And so that to me was just a little bit strange and weird when I'm watching this game.
Yeah, that's disappointing, because like when there's a spectacular plays like that, you want to hear the crowd get behind them and everything else, because you know what that block reminded me of? The one that he did in the finals against DeAndre Ayton, and he had that block. Because like literally it looked like he teleported. He was on one side of the basket, and then he was on the other side making the block.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. I don't know how he got there. I don't know how he flew that far and had that much strength to be able to get rid of that ball. It was, I didn't see it coming, and all of a sudden there he was. I'm like, holy cow! I had to watch it. I had to rewind it a few times to watch it again. Like, how did he get there? How the heck did he get there? And so it was neat. But I would have thought the place would have just went bananas because but maybe they missed it because they don't have the ability to rewind. Maybe they missed it like I kind of did and had to watch it again and again and again. But it's been fun. Really like the games. Unfortunately, Golden State, Steph Curry, I told you about this the other night. I thought he blew the game on last week there. He should have shot the ball with 3 seconds remaining instead of 12 seconds remaining. And there are a lot of fiasco that happened after that. But this is great though. These two teams to me are the best two teams in basketball at this current point right now.
Definitely OKC out of the West. There's no,
but I'm not saying like standings wise. I'm just saying like I don't think anybody in the East is playing any better than the Bucks right now.
I agree. Well, somewhat agree with you. I think the Cleveland Cavs are right there with them as well. Right. But yes, the Bucks are playing absolutely fantastic basketball right now, and I think one of the keys to that is the fact that Middleton has come back.
Yeah, I hope he's healthy. I hope it's just a 1-day flu, and he's able to be there. It'd be crappy if they don't have the full complement like OKC has. So let's hope. Can't wait for the game, and should be fun. I was surprised when you texted me the other day and you said Joel Embiid is out again. Got a little boo-boo and had to fall out again. I called him Mr. Glass 2.0. And It turned out that he is Mr. Glass. He got another facial fracture. To me, that didn't even look that hard. Like,
It didn't
that
look that
was
hard.
weird. It looked like he kind of just brushed his face.
Yeah.
And this is his third nasal fracture. Pretty bizarre. I've heard it's not as serious as other ones, but man, this guy's injury prone. And I'm amazed that he's out again. I was just like, oh, great. Another miss for this guy. It just seems like everything, every little thing, he's missing another game or two or five. And so, yeah, to hear that it was actually broken, I'm giving him a
Yeah.
little bit of the benefit of the doubt, but geez,
Yeah.
another guy that's pretty fragile.
Yeah. So when I was watching the game,
Yeah.
like I saw it happen and I go, why is he down on the ground for so long? Like, come on, man. Like, are you serious? Like, it didn't look to me like he got whacked. Like, it didn't
No,
look
not at
that
all.
hard of a
No,
hit.
not at
And
all.
the fact that he left, and this the way that the announcer's like, yeah, there goes Joel Embiid. I don't think we'll be seeing him for the rest of the game. Like the announcer already knew. It's like, yeah, he's done. His night is over. Like, wrote him off immediately. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, man, because like that's how that's your reputation now, which is kind of
Yeah.
awful. And then within that text I sent you, I thought it was funny because I'm like, okay, so how many games has Joel actually played so far this season? 5.
Five, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
How many games has his former teammate Ben Simmons played? Triple the amount, 15. And I'm like, who would have ever thought that would ever be a thing?
Yeah,
Who would have ever thought that?
that's hilarious. Yeah, that was so hilarious. Yeah, to point that out is so funny.
Yeah.
He was hit by Benedict Mathurin, the Canadian, and the difference in size of those two guys is just outrageous. Like, oh, Joel Embiid's one of the biggest humans you're ever gonna get, but he's just weak, and all those things he's missed from left knee management and all the other things in his career. It's just been ridiculous how many games he's missed. He's ineligible now to win any postseason awards because they've got a 65 game threshold. He's already missed more than that already. And yeah, that happened to him last year. He wasn't in the running for MVP again last year because he missed too much time. And it's becoming a bit of a joke and pretty unfortunate. Philadelphia is just 7 wins on the season, and actually only 1 win with Joel Embiid on the court. Only 1 win with him on the court this whole entire season. So out of those 5 games he played, they lost 4 of them. And they've been hit by the injury bug pretty badly. So many guys are out. Right now, they also lost Jared McCain. He tore his meniscus in his left knee, and so he's out indefinitely. He's been a great blessing for them, a good standout rookie. And Caleb Martin is still out with a shoulder injury. And there was somebody else missing too. Maxi's been missing here and there, but anyway, yeah, they're in trouble. Looks like this season is almost flushed down the toilet for the Sixers.
Yeah, I'd say so. Like it's been super disappointing. The only bright spot that I can see besides Maxi for the Sixers has been Yabusele, who they got because he had a
Olympics.
fantastic Olympics.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I loved his performance in the Olympics, and I was so happy that somebody picked him up.
Yeah, me too. Like, I'm like, that's deserving of an NBA contract, and I'm glad somebody gave him such, was the 76ers, and he's been playing very, very well.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to mention some more Olympic stuff in a second, but I've got another thing to mention. I talk about injuries. I heard about an injury that happened. I think it was just this past weekend in the WWE. Jalen Brunson got hurt, injured his hand. Can you believe that? Oh man, that is bad. Was it this weekend that happened?
Yeah. Okay. So it was, but I also heard off of Jalen's podcast that he does with Jason Hart. Triple H was on there, and so they were talking about the setup and how he would slide into the ring and lean off on that hand, the surgically repaired hand and stuff like that. So Triple H, his heart like gasped because he was just like, oh like it's like almost like we will never do anything with the NBA again.
Right? Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so luckily, what Jalen said was, yeah. So I put pressure on the hand, and I was just like, you know what? Feels pretty good. Like he wasn't moving it to say that. Oh, I broke it again. He was moving it to say, okay, that's pretty good.
Oh,
Good.
oh, nice. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So Triple H actually thought he had injured it, but he was just
Yeah.
actually like flexing it to say, "Oh, actually, wow, I'm amazed. It feels great."
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, nice.
Exactly.
Wow,
So, and
that's
that's
good.
straight from Jalen Brunson's mouth. That's what he
Okay.
said.
Oh, good to hear. Yeah, because that would have been brutal. Nick fans would have
Oh.
been up in arms and they would have had a huge amount of troubles with the WWE ever getting anybody from other sports again. It would have been brutal.
Oh, it would have been brutal. And also, too, the Knicks fans would have just boycotted WWE from coming to Madison Square Garden. It's like, no, man, you guys can't come here anymore.
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah. Okay, we've had a few trades in the NBA this past weekend. On Friday, there was a trade with Thomas Bryant got sent from the Miami Heat to the Indiana Pacers, and they're just doing a second round pick swap for both those guys. The Warriors did a trade over the weekend, acquiring Dennis Schroeder from the Brooklyn Nets for DeAnthony Melton. Second round pick is going back towards the Warriors. 3 second round picks and a guard prospect, Reese Beekman, are heading to the Nets. But this is huge for the Warriors because Melton was making about 12 million this year, but he blew out his ACL and was going to be gone for the season anyway. So they didn't have him. They were able to get Schroeder in there, and he's going to be able to be, a very key piece. And he's making a lot less money than Melton too. So there's an ability for Mike Dunleavy to make some other deals and bring in some more help.
Yeah, bring in some more help or shift Schroeder again if he needs to.
Right.
Right. So, and also too, Schroeder's been playing very, very well so far this season.
Yeah.
It sucks for Melton because he was having a great season until said injury. So that sucks for him. But I do like the fact that Golden State was able to pivot, get Schroeder in, who's not the same kind of player, but was doing just as well as Melton, I believe, or even better.
Even better,
So
I think,
at least they've improved their roster in that respect. I think they've still got another big swing in them, but I don't know who they're going to go for. There's rumors, there's whispers that they might be trying to go for Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I've been hearing that. I've been hearing that quite a bit. Yeah.
And I think because a guy of Jimmy Butler's talents and what he would bring to the Golden State Warriors, I think would be in lockstep with what they do.
Incredible. I think it would be just such a great fit. Yeah, he would just fit in seamlessly, I think. Incredible. I mentioned the Olympics with Yabusele. Schroeder was very key for the German team, and they were able to get a fourth place performance. Steve Kerr got to see firsthand because the U.S. did play Germany in a tune-up game. And, I think he was able to talk to Dunleavy and say, he'd be great. I think he's a big asset. He was averaging over 18 points a game and 6.5 assists per game with Brooklyn, and being quite the star there. So I think if the Warriors do keep him, I think it'll be a good piece. But I think other teams would like him. He's on his 8th NBA season in the last 8 years, so teams love him. Teams want him, and so every time he does make a change, teams are getting big assets for him. So I think it's a wise move on the Warriors' part.
I think it was a very wise move on the Warriors' part. Like they definitely improved their roster with him a part of it now.
I've been hearing a lot of names rumored on the trade block. You mentioned Jimmy Butler, but I also heard from the Nets. Nick Claxton is out there for the Hornets. Miles Bridges. We've got Patrick Williams from the Bulls, Obi Toppin from the Pacers, Max Christie from the Lakers, Precious Achua from the Knicks, OG Anunoby from the Knicks, Isaiah Joe from the Thunder, some of the names, Goga Bitadze from the Magic. Lots of names that are being floated about, bandied about. I think there's going to be quite a few moves in the coming weeks. It's going to be pretty incredible.
the one name that you said that surprises the heck out of me, because I thought there's no way that they would get rid of him or move him, is OG Anunoby for the Knicks. Like, I thought they specifically targeted him because of what he brings to the table, and the fact that they're willing to part ways with him. I'm actually quite surprised at that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I thought the Raptors made a huge mistake letting him go. I thought he was such a key guy for his entire career in Toronto. I thought he was just such a incredible defensive stalwart and could chip in when he needed to, but he wasn't selfish, didn't need to. And I thought he was one of the best guys they've had, and I was really surprised they wanted to let him go.
Exactly. Like, he's somebody that doesn't need to dominate the ball to score the ball.
No.
And that those guys are very, very rare to find in the league.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, there was a couple NBA records set yesterday with the Golden State Warriors Dallas Mavericks game. They set a new NBA record with a combined 48 three-pointers made, and the game was 143 to 133, won by Dallas. The previous record was 44, and it was just set just a couple of few days ago. Sorry, it was set in February of 2023. 44. No, this was it was and Friday it was set at 44, and it was tied back from February 2023 in a triple overtime game between Utah and Phoenix. But the record was broken twice or tied and then broken twice in the same weekend. Golden State also set a record for the most ever three-pointers made in a loss. And they also had a record this weekend where the Bulls and the Hornets set a three-pointer record for futility. The most ever combined misses, 75 misses this weekend. Insane. And Steve Kerr was at the podium at the press conference after the game and said, looking at the stat sheet, he's like, "Oh my God, I've never seen a stat sheet like this in my life. This is absolutely insane." He said, "We had 39 assists, we had 27 made threes, and we had only 10. He said 10. What did he have? 10 turnovers. That was it. 10 turnovers, 39 assists, 27 made threes, 48 combined." He's like looking at it like, what the hell was going on here? Yeah. And the trend that's happening right now in the NBA, I don't think is good. I think it's relying way too much on that. You talked about that with me with Boston, relying way too much on three-pointers. And if they're not going down, they're losing. And these teams need more balance. Right now, each team is averaging about 37.5 3-point attempts per game, and it's going to blow away the record. And it keeps going up, but it's starting to become a little bit stupid and ridiculous. And baseball made some huge changes to their rules to change it. Does the NBA have to implement something to, stop this madness from happening and just being a free throw and 3-point contest completely every single night?
I don't know, because like there's been talk about like maybe extending from the top and from the sides, extending out the 3-point line so that like it makes the shot a little bit more difficult. Even though nowadays I don't know if that would make even a difference, because the guys are shooting from back there anyways. I think it just got to come from the coaches. Yeah. Because let's say this: if I was watching that Bulls Hornets game, and I'm watching this like brick, yeah, there is nothing enjoyable about watching that game. No. Like nothing. So then that has to come to the coaches, where it's like, all right, I see that the three is not falling. Yeah. All right, boys, take it to the hole. Yeah. Take twos. No more threes. Like, it has to come from the coaches. Yeah. Like the players are going to do what the coaches tell them to do. And the coaches keep telling them, keep shooting threes. This is going to go bombs away, whatever, man. But I think it has to come from the coaches, so to make sure that what we're watching for entertainment is good value.
Yeah, I sure hope so. That OKC Houston game was pretty terrible. They were shooting really brutal.
Oh,
Their defense, both teams' defense is really good, but there
yeah.
was a ton of open looks where they weren't hitting them, and it was unbelievably frustrating to watch. I think they were shooting something in the neighborhood of 25 to 27% most of the game, and that is not fun to watch. It's just
No,
not.
no,
I like defensive basketball and I like really intense games like that, but it was just really a lot of poor shooting, and we're seeing guys jacking up threes that are shooting 25 to less than 30%. You're gonna see way, 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 way more misses than makes. It's not that great. Not that great.
no, it's not that great. You're absolutely right. It's not that great. It's not great to watch. And again, I think that has to come from the coaches to say, you
Yeah.
know what? It's not falling. We have to change the direction of what we're doing for offense.
Yeah. Let's hope we see a fantastic game tomorrow night. And a
Yeah.
lot of teams want to resemble what both teams are doing. And we start seeing copycats for both these two teams, because these two teams are exciting, fun to watch, aren't just bombing away threes all the time. And I think it'll be definitely to our benefit if most teams can try to resemble these two teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think end of the day, there's got to be some sort of balance between the two. You
Yeah.
got to have balance, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the same with the NFL. You got to have some run and you got to have some pass. You can't
Right.
like if you have too much of one, that's not good.
Doesn't work. Yeah.
Doesn't work.
We have a game here in Vancouver tonight. It is the Colorado Avalanche are in town. Avalanche come in with Nathan MacKinnon leading the NHL in points, and Cale Makar leading the defensemen in the NHL in points. It will be a tough test for the Canucks. Avalanche come in 18-14 record. Canucks sit at 15-9-5. After Saturday's fiasco against the Bruins, Rick Tocchet has called out his team, said a lot of guys are not coming ready to play. It's taken them about 30 minutes of the game, more than half the game, to even get involved, get energized, put them through a brutal practice yesterday, and then switched the lines up quite a bit today. He is mad. This is one of the most vocal and mad press conferences I've ever heard from Tocchet. He has called out his players before, but I think he's getting very frustrated with what they're showing on home ice, and especially what they showed against the Bruins. I think they were outshot 17-4 in the first period and 16-4 in the third period, and they got beat 5-1 against a team that came in playing really bad, getting crushed by Winnipeg 8-1 over the week. I think they got beat 5-1 from Seattle before they got here, and it was ugly. It was bad. It ruined a lot of people's Saturday nights, and especially Tocchet, and he wasn't having any more of it. We'll see what kind of performance we get out of the Canucks tonight.
Hopefully better. Hopefully they got the message. Because when you shoot that little on net, that's just an effort thing.
Yeah.
Will and effort. And both of those were not there. I saw the highlights and I was like, gross. Yes, gross. Like that was my honest feeling watching the highlights, where I'm like, they just don't got it tonight. They don't got it.
No. The only good thing that happened on Saturday night was rookie Max Sasson ended up getting his first ever NHL goal. It was his 10th game, I believe, and he was able to finally light the lamp. He had a few assists coming in, and was starting to get a little more ice time, getting to play with some better players. If the lines in practice are any indication, he's actually entered into the top 6. We'll play on the second line coming in tonight, and that's nice that Tocchet has rewarded him. He's one of the only guys I saw out there with energy, and the only guy that scored on Saturday night. Great to see him getting an opportunity. I hope he can run with it, maybe go on a little bit of a tear here, and be that guy that's up there scoring some goals for them.
Yeah, I think Tocchet's going about it the right way. Calling out the people that need to be called out, and he's rewarding those that are actually putting forth the effort to try to win it.
Yeah. I actually think that we're going to see some Canuck trades in the very near future. I think that it looks like they're getting frustrated with the current mix we're seeing. Jim Rutherford was on After Hours and had some conversations saying, yeah, things aren't working out. And he's never been shy of making deals. His nickname is Trader Jim, and I could see some deals happening. There's a few guys that are in the doghouse right now with Talkit, and last year when their guys entered the doghouse, they were gone before they could even close the door on it. They were out with some other teams. So yeah, expect some moves happening very soon if they don't get out of this funk.
No, and it should be expected. You know what I mean? Like that. This is the way that we do business here in Vancouver.
Yeah.
You're in the doghouse, and we give you a little bit of rope to try to get out of the doghouse. And if you can't do that, see you later.
See you later. Exactly. Yeah. I couldn't get the NBA Players of the Week, but I got the NHL first 3 stars of the week. First star this week was the Oilers' Leon Draisaitl. He had 3 goals, 6 assists in 3 games, all Oilers victories. Oilers have won actually 5 in a row, 3 this week, 5 in a row altogether. 2 of his goals this week were game winners, and he's tied for the top goal scorer in the NHL with Kirill Kaprizov, and having a phenomenal year. Edmonton's on a heater right now, looking like the best team lately in the NHL and moving up the ranks. Second star, Nathan McKinnon, just mentioned him a few minutes ago. He had a great week as well, 9 points as well, 4 goals, 5 assists. He leads the NHL in points with 50 points after 32 games, and he'll be hard to corral, always is, for the Canucks tonight. And third star is Linus Ullmark. He stopped 88 of 91 shots, won all 3 games for the Ottawa Senators, helping them move up back into the playoff race, into a playoff position. He had 1 shutout, only allowed 1 goal per game in those 3 contests. Had a great week. The top team in the Eastern Conference remains the Washington Capitals. Phenomenal lately. They've won 4 in a row, 9 out of their last 10. And Alex Ovechkin is actually on this trip with them. He's heading for this 2-game road trip. They play tonight in Dallas and tomorrow in Chicago. He broke his leg November the 18th and is already skating with the team, practicing, and might play tonight or tomorrow. Pretty incredible that he's been able to come back that fast. Less than a month.
I'm sorry. What? It doesn't even make any sense. Like what kind of break did he have? Like was it just like a tiny break? Like a little stress patch? Like what is he, Wolverine? I don't get that.
Broken left fibula. So it was a broken fibula. Somehow he's ready to come back in less than a month. That's insane, eh?
That's absolutely insane. Is he just like, nah, man, I gotta get that Gretzky record, so coming back. Whether I'm good or not, coming back.
Yeah, that's probably what he wants to do. He finished before he got hurt with 868 goals. 894 is where Gretzky sits, so not far behind. He was on a really good clip, had 15 goals and 10 assists, 25 points in his first 18 games. So yeah, he wants that record bad. He's gonna play on one leg, won't matter. He'll ask for a some kind of rocking chair in the corner. Just put me right here. This is where my shooting spot is. Get guys to help him off and on the ice, and just so he can blast from the point.
Exactly, right? Like it's just like, hey, you guys play defense. I'll be right here when you get the puck back on offense. I'll be right here.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be hilarious. Yeah. And then the team at the bottom, right near the bottom of the Eastern Conference, is the Buffalo Sabres. They've lost 10 in a row. Nice. I thought, fire sale coming. Lindy Ruff, their coach, got up on the podium on the weekend there, Saturday, and they were like, what's going on? what's happened here? Can you explain this? And he goes, I am absolutely at a loss for words. I don't think I have anything that I could say. This is the worst it's ever been. I don't know what to say. And he just got up and walked away because he had nothing to say. And so the owner made a special trip out to catch them on the road trip. I thought that was kind of a bad sign. Maybe the coach is fired, maybe a few guys are demoted, maybe some trades and stuff. And he said, no fire sale. We're going to figure this out amongst ourselves. And that was quite surprising to hear. And so, yeah, we'll probably hear he's fired tomorrow and 4 guys are traded.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, I love how he's given the vote of confidence, but in the background, he's just like, so do we fire everybody? Like everybody?
Yeah, no kidding. Hey, yeah,
Yeah.
it's rough there, man. Rough. And then the worst team in the NHL on the Western Conference side, worst team, doesn't matter what conference, is the Nashville Predators. 1-6-3 in their last 10. Just absolutely just a complete dumpster fire there, and it's getting bad. They've already made some moves, but expect a lot of more moves together. And the top team in the West, Winnipeg Jets, have climbed back into top spot. They're on a bit of a streak again. Connor Hellebuck has been playing just phenomenal in goal. He's the #1 American goalie for that mid-season tournament that they're going to have in the NHL. He has first in wins, 19-5-1 in the season, first in goals against average, 2.11, first in shutouts with 3, and second in save percentage at 926. So the Jets are very lucky to have him. And as I said, they had a great offensive explosion this week where they beat Boston 8-1. So nice to see them back on track. They had a little bit of a blip, but you said, every team goes through a little bit of a slump, but looks like they're back on track and humming along again.
Yeah, back on track, humming along. And I think Talkit is like, why can't we do that? See that, guys? That's what we need to do. Back on track. All right.
Yeah, I think Thatcher Demko doesn't look like himself, and he missed 233 days, so probably needs to get himself back in. I think he's allowed. What is he allowed? I think 9 or 10 goals since he's been back. Kevin Lankinen unfortunately got the flu, as well as a few other players on the team on the weekend, so they had to call up Archer Silos from Abbotsford to be the backup on Saturday. Be nice to see Lankinen back, and maybe Lankinen takes a little bit more of the role until Thatcher gets back to game speed and feels like the goalie he was before he got hurt.
Yeah, I think that's probably what they're going to have to do, because it's because that injury that he had was the unique one, right? Where nobody else has ever had that injury. So it's going to take him a bit. It's going to take him a bit to get back.
Papatias, it's called Papatias. So if anybody wants to look it up, crazy, weird injury. And it might take him a while to get back at it. Okay, as I mentioned, we had a couple of games this past weekend in college football, but this is the great weekend where it's all happening. We've got the second bowl game goes tomorrow, called the Miami Beach Bowl. 2 bowl games Wednesday, another bowl game, few bowl games Thursday, and then the big games are happening on Friday. We've got number 5 Notre Dame hosting number 8 Indiana, and that's the 5 p.m. kickoff. Number 4 Penn State holds number 10 SMU. That's the 9 a.m. kickoff. Number 3 Texas hosts number 16 Clemson, 1 p.m. These are all Pacific time. And number 6 Ohio State hosts number 7 Tennessee, also at 5 p.m. So great bowl games to watch. It's going to be super, super, super fun. I can't wait for these games. They're going to be great. And finally, we've got this amazing 12 team playoff starting. And I think the football will be something that we remember for years and years and years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the football is going to be awesome. It's going to be great. It's great to see the bowl games, and then great to see the playoffs and how they all shake out.
The very last game of the regular season was Army against Navy on Saturday, and Navy ended up beating Army 31-13. Navy's quarterback, I talked about him recently with you. His name is Blake Horvath. He was 4 for 9 with 107 yards and 2 touchdowns as a quarterback. Then he ran the ball 25 times for 204 yards and 2 touchdowns. That was his numbers on the day. He only completed 4 passes, but it was for 107 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then he decided, okay, forget it. I'm running the ball. He had more carries than everybody else. 204 yards and a couple touchdowns himself. Pretty wild. I can't wait to see this guy. I hope he makes it into the NFL and just as somebody. I don't know if he'll be quarterback or just, a Swiss Army knife, but this guy seems to have a lot of cool talent.
Yeah, no, that's actually pretty cool. I love that he did his best impression of Ashton Genty, for the Navy. Nice.
Yeah, pretty wild. The quarterback for Army was 7-16, 65 yards, 1 touchdown, but 3 picks. So that was bad for him. He had 19 carries, only 52 yards. So a pretty good defensive performance by Navy to shut him down. I'm glad you mentioned Ashton Genty because he's pretty pissed off today. He was quite upset and mad. Said he deserved to get the Heisman Trophy. Was picked over for Travis Hunter. I think most people suspected that Hunter was the guy that was going to get it. You were flag waving for Genty all season. And, in any other year, I think he gets it.
He wins.
Just because Travis had that much publicity and played so many snaps, both sides of the ball, I think was able to get the nod there. But, phenomenal year for both guys. Genty said he's going to use it as fuel and he's going to prove everybody wrong. And he's going to go into the NFL and he's going to be one of those elite backs for many years to come.
I think he's definitely going to do that. I believe they said for that Heisman when Hunter won that it was the closest race since 2009 or something like that.
Nice.
So it was close.
Yeah.
Right? Like it was super close. But at the end of the day, I agree with them. Like when you play that well on both sides of the ball and you literally never come off the field. I think it was very poignant for me when I was listening to Edelman and Gronkowski on their podcast. It's an excellent podcast, by the way.
Very good.
Excellent podcast.
Yeah.
I was listening to them talk, and what Edelman was saying was like the fact that he can actually do that is absolutely insane.
Amazing.
That he literally never comes off the field, and like that means his stamina is just on another level.
Yeah.
His endurance is on another level.
Yeah.
And he can play at the highest caliber for both of those positions. He was like, for me, it made sense. It's like, well, you got to give it to him.
Yeah.
Who else could you possibly give it to?
Yeah, no, I've thought that for, most of the season, just seeing, when they just started showing how many snaps he was playing, being a shutdown guy. Nobody was, being able to do anything on his side of the ball, on his side of the field when he was out there, and elite pass catcher. There hasn't been a Heisman Trophy winner outside of a quarterback other than Devontae Smith in the past 15 years. So I didn't think at first they were going to even look his way, but then I just started seeing he was playing almost every snap, both sides of the ball. It was like, wow, nobody else in football is doing this. So, somebody said on Saturday night when I watched the ceremony, he's a buffalo and a unicorn at the same time. This is kind of cool.
Absolutely, man. Like it's super impressive. We might never see anybody like this ever again.
No.
So the fact that Ashton Genty actually made it close, that's a huge feather in your cap, because if that dude, if Ashton Genty's not around, Travis Hunter runs away with this Heisman.
Yeah.
Not even close.
True. Yeah. Yeah. And to see a non-quarterback, the top 2 guys really that are non-quarterbacks, very impressive. Dylan Gabriel and Cam Ward both had phenomenal seasons themselves. And the other thing that really struck me was every one of these guys had, used the transfer portal, and change schools at some point in their college career. And, especially a guy like Ward, who had played 4 years in two separate places before his fifth year, he finally went to Miami. That was pretty incredible. And this is something new we really haven't seen. I guess we have seen in the past couple years, but it's something that, over the history of the Heisman, it's a really rare thing.
It's a rare thing, and it's something that now this is going to be the norm. This is absolutely going to be the norm going forward.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the pigskin on the professional side. We had week 15 of the NFL. And the playoff picture is really starting to come into focus. The race for the number one seed is pretty interesting on both the AFC and the NFC. The race for the NFC, the race for the AFC number one seed is actually still in play with the Chiefs and the Bills. Everyone kind of already sort of thought the Chiefs had it, but when I looked at the remaining schedule and started breaking it down, it looks like the Bills could catch the Chiefs and make it possibly of winning it all. The Chiefs are 13-1, but they have some pretty tough opponents. They play Houston, Pittsburgh, and Denver, all with winning records. The Bills sit at 11-3, 2 games back, but their last three opponents are the Patriots, the Jets, and the Patriots again. So 3 wins and 4 wins from the Jets. So very easily winnable games. I think we're going to see the Bills sitting at 14-3 in the end. And the Chiefs, the Chiefs did win 21-7 this weekend, but they've just squeaked out win after win after win all season long. I think 2 of these games are definitely losable, and maybe all 3.
Yeah, definitely losable. But that's the thing with the Chiefs this year.
Yeah.
Probably not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Something weird's going to happen, and it's just like the other team is going to shoot themselves in the foot, and it's like, oh, they won again. Crazy.
Yeah. It'll be great if they meet again. The Bills beat the Chiefs 30-21 in week 11, and it'd be nice to see both these teams emerge at the top of the conference at the end. The number one seed in the NFC is coming down to the Lions and the Eagles. They both sit at 12-2 right now. Lions lost to the Bills yesterday, but the Lions play the Bears, who are 4-9, the 49ers 6-8, and then they finish with the Vikings, who are 11-2. Philadelphia currently 12-2. They play the Commanders, the Cowboys, and the Giants, all division rivals, but the Giants and the Cowboys both under 500, and the Commanders 9-5. We'll see how that shakes out. If they finish tied, the Lions currently have the tiebreaker because they have a better conference record, but the Eagles still have those 3 games left in the conference, so it could flip onto their side. But it'll be interesting to see, as there's only one bye. Super important, very crucial, especially the rest of the teams have to keep coming to your place for as long as you're there.
Yeah, right. And also, too, the bye would benefit the Lions more so than the Eagles, because the Lions need help with time so that they can get maybe some of the guys back on defense, which is utterly decimated.
Oh, man, yeah. Even more injuries this past weekend. Yeah, 13 guys on the injured reserve going into this weekend, and they lost another 3, I think. So pretty brutal. We're going to talk about Josh Allen and the Bills game, best game of the weekend, Bills-Lions. But I did want to talk as well as the top 3 running backs in the league this year are all guys that left teams and moved on to different teams. We got Saquon Barkley, Henry, and Josh Jacobs, and Derrick Henry and Josh Jacobs. The teams that they left are the Giants 2-12, the Titans 3-11, and the Raiders 2-11. Go to the Eagles 12-2, the Ravens 9-5, and the Packers 10-4. So pretty hilarious how the running back is no longer needed in the NFL, and those teams that lost them just went right into the tank, and the teams that got them are going to make the playoffs and have a good run.
Yeah, yeah. That what does that tell you? Well, like literally, like what does that tell you? It's like, no, the running back is still a very important position in football. And if you have one of the best guys like Saquon, makes the game a lot easier.
It
A
sure
lot
does.
easier.
Yeah. Okay, we start in the NFC East as always. The Eagles lead the NFC East 12-2. Commanders sit second, 9-5. Cowboys third, 6-8, and the Giants last 2-12. This was a battle for Pennsylvania bragging rights. The Eagles were able to get the 27-13 victory over the Steelers. The Eagles clinched the playoff spot, currently sit in the number 2 seed. Jalen Hurts had a great game, used his two favorite targets, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and they had a big impact on the game. Both had phenomenal games. Barkley, not as much as usual, but they didn't need him, I guess, on this game. They had a great defense, too. The time of possession was 40 minutes to 20 minutes for the Eagles. And the last drive they had where they ended the game was 10.5 minutes long. Actually, Pittsburgh only had 2 drives in the second half, about 6 minutes total of the 30 minutes, 24 minutes for the Eagles. So, you can't really blame Russell Wilson. You can't really blame the Steelers offense. They just didn't have the ball, weren't on the field, and weren't able to win this game.
Yeah, no, the Eagles had a fantastic approach, which is we're just going to keep the ball away from you, and you're not going to have a chance to score or do anything, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, it almost felt to me in this game that Saquon said, "Hey, Jalen, don't hand off the ball to me too much today. Just give it to those other guys.
Yeah.
Make them happy."
Right.
Especially
After
that
A.J.
Brown,
complained in the week, and yeah. Because A.J.
So
Brown
he's happy
supposedly kicked
because
up and stink, right?
yeah, because like even when he scored his touchdown, all of a sudden it's like I believe the announcers even said that they said, "Oh, would you look at that? They're friends again. Oh, that's nice."
Yeah, that was hilarious. That was very funny. One thing that's a little concerning for Eagles fans is Jalen Hurts has a broken ring finger on his non-throwing hand. Broke it yesterday. We'll see if it impacts the way he takes the ball out of center, the way he's handing it off. But that wasn't good news to hear at all from them. The other thing I wanted to mention was injury-wise for the Steelers, T.J. Watt had a pretty serious ankle injury. They're calling it a low ankle injury, not high. But they're on a bit of a shorter week. They play on Saturday, so he'll be monitored, might not play. He did set the franchise record for the most forced fumbles, passing James Harrison with 33, and was a force, as always, had 2 sacks and was a menace in the backfield the entire game. But he came up a bit lame, and we'll see how he shakes it off this week.
Yeah, you know what? Funny that you mentioned that, because I remember watching the play, and it was almost like, obviously he was rushing, but it was almost non-contact, because like you just saw him just kind of pull up and he was like, "Oh, my ankle." And obviously it was concerning because like the other probably future Hall of Famer in Lance Johnson, where they were going one-on-one, they were going at it all game. But even he was concerned because he was just like, "Oh, like, are you all right, man?" Like, because it was kind of weird. It was a weird injury. So hopefully it gets over it quickly. But I don't know, man. Like it seemed odd, that one.
Yeah, I watched it a few times, and I think it got caught in the turf as he went around Johnson. I think it got caught in the turf as he was trying to make his cut to the quarterback, and I think it just twisted on him there. So, it didn't seem like an Achilles where you see those non-contact Achilles ones. But it looked like it hurt, and to see Lane Johnson come over and actually like grab him while he's on the ground and sort of like, "Are you all right? You need help? Are you good?" And that's because they battled hard the whole
Oh, they
entire
battle
game,
hard,
those
man.
guys. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
pretty crazy. Yeah, tough loss for the Steelers, but still 10-4 and in the front in their top of their division. So we'll see how it goes for them. They play Baltimore this Saturday. It's a 1:30 game, and that's for the division title. Baltimore sits right behind them, 9-5. If the Steelers win this game, I think they win this division. Baltimore
Mhm.
wins. It's anybody's battle, anybody's um, division from that point forward.
And you know it's going to be tough. You know it's going to be super ultra competitive because that's the only way these two teams know how to play each other.
Yeah, yeah,
Hard.
that's always such a great battle. Always, yep. And as I mentioned earlier, the Eagles visit division rival, the Commanders. They play in the early window Sunday. Let's talk about the Commanders. They squeaked out a 20-19 victory over the Saints. They sit currently as the number 7 seed with a 9-5 record. It's their first winning season since 2016. That's pretty crazy. It's been a while. You and I talked about it. New regime, get the
Yep.
owner out of there, get a new, whole new team to take over. And now they're finally good and relevant. And Jaden Daniels has definitely helped.
Yeah, Dayton Daniels definitely helped. They have like literally because of just the way that their culture, ownership, top down has changed. They have a new lease on life, pretty
Yeah.
much, and they're doing fantastic. McLaurin had 2 touchdowns with 73 yards, and I was actually, to be honest with you, Commanders were pretty much in control of this game from start to finish. But I was surprised when the Saints did make it close.
Yeah, well, it was 20-7, and then the Saints had a couple drives where they were
Yeah,
only able to kick field goals, but then they were able to march down and they got that Foster Moreau touchdown
touchdown.
just
Yeah,
as the time expired. They had a chance to tie it up with a extra point kick, but they went for two, and
yeah.
the play wasn't well designed. It was a rollout by Spencer Rattler, and he tried to fire it in the corner of the end zone, and it was knocked away. And I was quite surprised that the interim coach decided to go for it, go for the win,
Me too.
instead of kicking the field goal and going to overtime.
I thought they were definitely going to overtime. So when they lined up, I was like, they're going to go for the win? That doesn't bode well. That's what I felt
Yeah.
because it's like Saints aren't good enough to do that. That's what I felt. Like they're just
No.
not good enough to
Yeah.
do that. Go to overtime.
Yeah, they should have. Yeah. Juwan Johnson. And, you're using your, second, maybe third string quarterback.
Back.
You got him rolling out. He's running. He's trying to find everybody's rolling out, head
Uh,
towards him.
yeah,
I didn't think it was a properly designed play, and I think I would have taken my chances in OT.
yeah,
But yeah, Commanders get the big win. Terry McLaurin was great and very huge for them. Uh, Jake Hayner started, but he was pretty ineffective. So Spencer Rattler came in. He didn't do that much better. But I love the play call that they had with Cedric Wilson, where he
yeah.
took the ball, ended up throwing it into the end zone, getting a touchdown. That was a pretty nice pass to Alvin Kamara. And yeah, they're missing quite a few pieces, though. The Saints, a little bit, give them a little bit of a break. 5-9 on the season, but they've been really hit bad by the injury bug.
They have been hit bad by the injury bug, but Kamara with that pass from Wilson, incredible catch,
That was
incredible
great.
one-handed
Oh
catch.
man, just yeah,
Yeah,
I
that was
screamed
beautiful,
when
man.
I saw it because it was just like a one-handed heading
Yeah,
into the corner.
corner.
It didn't look like it was catchable.
Yeah,
And he was able to reel it in and get the TD. It was very nice.
yeah, very nice, man.
Yeah.
That was the highlight for the Saints for sure.
A week from tonight, the Saints traveled to Green Bay to play the Packers. And as I mentioned already, the Commanders face the Eagles. Okay, the third team in the NFC East at the Cowboys. They were able to get the pretty easy 30-14 win over the 3-11 Panthers. The defense was huge. They forced 4 turnovers, sacked Bryce Young 6 times, and were able to get the win. Three guys named Jalen got touchdowns in this game. Two for Dallas, one for Carolina. And Cooper Rush was pretty good. Had 3 touchdown passes, over 200 yards passing. One of the best games I've seen out of Rico Dowdle, 150 yards on the ground. And the guys that were named Jalen that got the TDs for Dallas were Jalen Brooks and Jalen Tolbert. So
Right.
yeah, easy win. Pretty much Panthers are yeah, playing out the string there, but I'm sure nice to pad your stats on the defense and the offense for the Cowboys.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Micah Parsons was absolutely a menace once again. Still kind of surprised Cowboys haven't given him a deal yet.
Oh my God.
Like it's just like,
wow.
So he's good, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Crazy. Yeah, he had a couple sacks leading the way, and yeah, he deserves all the money he can get.
Yeah.
For the Panthers, Bryce Young struggled, and Jalen Colker is the Jalen that got a touchdown for Carolina. And our guy Chuba Hubbard, a bit of a slow game, 10 carries, 32 yards, 4 catches, 17 yards. Wasn't able to get much going. The Panthers host the Arizona Cardinals early window Sunday, and the Cowboys host the Buccaneers, and that's the Sunday nighter. Should be a fun game there. Final team in the NFC East is the Giants, sitting at 2-12. They were able to be they were easily handled by the Ravens, 35-14. Ravens sit currently number 5 in a wild card spot. Lamar Jackson led the way with 5 touchdown passes, almost 300 yards passing, and another 65 on the ground. Rashad Bateman was his favorite guy with a couple of TDs, and yeah, very easy win over a very terrible Giants team.
They're terrible. Just terrible. Terrible. Like I think Lamar was just like, all right, boys, a lot of touchdowns coming your way. All right. This is a feel-good game.
Yeah.
Feel good. It's gonna make
pad the stats, just like I said with Dallas. Just let's pad the stats. Let's all get a lot more money next year in our contract because we got more touchdowns and lots of yards.
Exactly. Like it's like you're gonna get touchdowns, you're gonna get a touchdown, you're gonna get a touchdown. Yeah, Lamar was awesome. He was awesome.
Yeah.
There was okay, I'm gonna try to remember this correctly. I think Lamar Jackson is the top for a quarterback in this modern day and era to have 5 touchdowns and miss less than 3 to 4 passes.
Yeah.
It's him at 5, and then everybody below him is like Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger, and there was somebody else. It might have been Aaron Rodgers, might not have been. I can't remember exactly who that was.
Peyton Manning. So
Peyton
yeah,
Manning.
Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, and Ben Roethlisberger all had 3 in their career,
3.
and he
had 5.
Yeah.
And then I looked at that stat and I go, oh, would you look at that? They're all Hall of Famers. Cool. I guess we know where he's headed.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, it seems like every week they put up graphics of things that Lamar Jackson has accomplished, that he's besting guys that had historic long Hall of Fame careers, and lots of times nobody's ever done this, and this is the first time, or this is the most of. He's unbelievable. He's just completely revolutionized the quarterback game, and what he's doing is just phenomenal. And yeah, you actually sent me that Instagram post that had that most games with 5 touchdowns and fewer than 5 incompletions. So incredible what he's been doing. Oh yeah, and he was able to get over 6,000 yards rushing in that game for his career. Only the second guy in history to ever accomplish that mark, and I think it was Michael Vick. I think it was that got the 6,000 before. So their defense was great too. They were able to knock out Tommy Cutlets out of the game. He got concussed, so we saw Timmy Boyle. I didn't even know he was still in the league. So pretty wild to see him get some opportunities there. But it was not bad. Had a touchdown pass. Malik Neighbors was basically the only guy that did much for them. Singletary did get a touchdown, but Giants trying to get the top #1 overall draft pick, and they're well on their way there. They head to Atlanta to play the Falcons on Sunday early morning. As I said before, the Ravens and the Steelers are playing each other, which is a game that I really look forward to. Okay, now we're turning to the NFC West. Turned back upside down again this past week. Seahawks end up losing, so they fell to second place. The Rams have come all the way back from last place to first place. Rams are 8-6, but they've got the tiebreaker ahead of the Seahawks, also 8-6. Cardinals sit at third, 7-7, and the Niners are last at 6-8. We have to go back to that Thursday game. Oh my God. One of the worst games that I've ever seen in my freaking life. It was painful as hell. I was sitting there at the bar watching it, eating my food, and just saw punt, 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 punt. You and I started joking. Okay, over under 16. They had 11 punts in the first half, and they only finished with 13, which was insane. But this was a rough game. I love the post you sent me with Gruden saying, when I took the fork out of my eye, it was one of the most painful things I've ever seen, and why I've been saying we should never have Thursday football games. And yeah, that was a rough, terrible game. Won 12-6 by the Rams over the 49ers because they got a bit better kicker. That's it.
That's basically it. Yeah. Like the real news from this game was the fact that Devondre Campbell did not go in. Yeah, when Dre Greenlaw
refused to enter back into the game.
To go in. Refused.
Yeah.
And so I knew right away, once his teammates just lambasted him, they were furious. So when he made that decision, that I would call that his business decision, he knew that was it for him.
Yeah.
Like he's probably not allowed into their organization, into the facilities. I believe he's gotten a 3-game suspension.
Yeah, like there's only 3 games left, so that's the season.
Yeah, because they were saying, or I heard it from Shannon Sharp, that they wanted to suspend him because if they waived him, he still would have gotten game checks for those 3 games. So they made sure that they suspended him because they weren't going to reward him for him doing that to the team, right?
It's such an egregious mistake that I think it possibly could cost him his career. I don't see teams wanting to take a risk on him because the other players on the team might not think that he has their back, might not think that he's somebody you can count on, rely on. To take that kind of a stance, it's unbelievable, and I think he's going to regret it for the rest of his life because that might be it for his career.
I think that is it for his career. Just it was the fact that their anger was so visceral. It was just so like, how could you do that to us, right? If there was something else going on, that the teammates would have given them slack, said, "Nah, you guys don't know the entire picture. You don't know the entire story." Said that.
No, everybody jumped on him and said how brutal it was and how mad they were, and it just everybody that got a microphone put in front of their face had a lot of negative things to say about it, and I don't think I think it was just a bad move, bad decision at that moment.
Bad decision, because you got guys on that team that have gone through real hardship, like Travarius Ward losing his dog. Like that's real.
Yeah.
Like to the point that the fact that he even came back to play for the rest of the season, that's a gift. Like
Pearsall getting shot.
Like, you know what I mean? Like these guys are going through real stuff. You're pissed because Dre Greenlaw, who's a better player than you, just took back his spot. Get out here. Like, what are you
Yeah.
talking about? Oh man, yeah.
I spent about 20 minutes today writing a letter to him, and I haven't finished it yet, but I'm going to find out where he lives, and I'm going to contact the local city hall jurisdiction and find out how much it costs to change his name, because I don't think he deserves the Campbell last name. And so let's see if I can convince him to change it to something cooler, maybe. And he won't smear our last name, because I'm hearing Campbell, quitter, and absolute joke, worst teammate ever. And I don't want to have my name just dragged through the mud this bad. So hopefully it's not costly. Hopefully I can give him some suggestions of cool names. Maybe you can come up with some, but come on, Devondre Campbell. Like, anybody that's going to Google Campbell in the next few weeks is going to have some really tough things to hear about the Campbell name. And he's dragging our name through the mud. Come on, we got a great name.
Well, especially now that you guys share the same first initial D. So D Campbell. Like, I'm sure if I pull it up right now, it might be your face and his face side by side, and then that's a problem.
That is a problem. Yeah. We had Dan Campbell with D Campbell, and he was giving us a lot of good publicity. He was crying a lot a couple of years ago, but we were still getting good feedback on the D Campbell name, and now we got this one. Oh man, it's just been rough. So I hope he takes my letter. He goes down to City Hall, changes his name, fades off into the sunset, finds another career. Gets onto crypto or something that makes him a millionaire, and enjoys a happy life.
Yeah, because like I would have to say that he's definitely looking for another career, because at this point in time, with just how bad it looks, the optics of it, I don't think there's any NFL team that would take him. Like, not even like the Carolina Panthers.
No, I think he's worked himself out of the league and might have a hard time getting back there. So yeah, we'll see. 49ers go to Miami. They play the Dolphins Sunday later window. The Rams play the New York Jets Sunday early window. So moving on, we're going to talk about the Seahawks. They had the Sunday nighter game. This was a possible playoff matchup, because the Seahawks were the number 3 seed. The Packers were the number 6 seed. And if the Seahawks were able to win, and it could have been a possible matchup, because the Seahawks lost 30-13. The Seahawks fell all the way from the 3rd seed down to the 8th seed, sitting currently out of the playoff mix because the Rams won and passed them in the division. This game was basically hand the ball to Josh Jacobs, hand the ball to Josh Jacobs, hand the ball to Josh Jacobs. He was a beast. Incredibly great game. And Jordan Love was good, but Jacobs was the man. Really was important for them to grind out a big victory. And at 10-4, very impressive. They're not the top tier, but they're just a little bit below that, and I think they could win a playoff game or two.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. I think the Seahawks' chances of winning this game left when Smith was knocked out of the game.
Yeah, Geno injured his knee, and Sam Howell is not Geno Smith. So
absolutely. Like, I knew as soon as Geno left the game, I'm like, Seahawks can't win this game, unfortunately. Very impressed with Mr. Romeo Doubs. I think he learned his lesson. I think he knows how to communicate better with his team when he's angry or when he's upset.
Yeah.
And by the way, Love has been like, don't worry, I got your back, and I've always had your back. That one catch that Dobbs had in the end zone, at the back of the end zone.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
All hands.
Yeah.
All hands.
Unreal. He showed how talented he is on that catch alone. Yeah. Just an awesome catch, and great to see him back and contributing well. Nice victory for the Packers. And they as I said, will host the Saints on the Monday nighter 1 week from tonight, and the Seahawks host the Vikings Sunday, 1 p.m. Now the Seahawks are in big trouble, might have a hard time winning that division and even getting a playoff spot, especially if Geno cannot play. Okay, we're still in the NFC West, sitting at the Cardinals. Cardinals sit at 7-7, sitting in the currently 9 seed currently, but moving back up the ranks. We're able to beat the Patriots 30-17. James Conner led the way with a couple rushing touchdowns, and Murray was good. Didn't throw any touchdowns, but still was able to march them down the field. I love the touchdown by Jonah Williams. Nice to see a lineman getting a touchdown. Doesn't happen very often. He recovered a fumble in the end zone. Nice to see. And Patriots, another one of those teams playing out the string. Don't have enough weapons, and they'll get a high draft pick this year.
They'll get a high draft pick, but the one position I don't think they'll be looking at or they'll need is the quarterback. I think Drake May is their guy for the future.
Yeah, no, I love him. He's great. I think he was a really good pickup, and once they get some weapons around him, he'll be a solid piece for sure. The Patriots shuffle off to Buffalo, play Sunday early. The Cardinals go to Carolina, play the Panthers same time. The game of the weekend was the Lions and the Bills. Lions are top of the NFC with a 12-2 record. Vikings sit one game back of them, 11-2, but they're playing tonight, so chance to tie them. Packers sit third at 10-4. All three teams in the playoff position currently, and the Bears sit last at 4-9. They also play tonight against the Vikings. The Bills were able to clinch their division with an amazing 48-42 victory over the Lions, the highest scoring game of the year. It went back and forth, back and forth. The Lions probably win this game if they don't elect to go for an onside kick with 12 minutes to go and basically hand over another touchdown to the Bills. They probably win this game, but wow, over 1,000 yards, 90 points. It was just one of those games that was really fun to watch. If you're a defensive guy, you hated it, but other than that, a lot of entertainment. I can't believe the numbers that you're seeing, like 500 yards for Goff with 5 touchdowns. Allen again, 2 touchdowns, passing, 2 running. These two teams are the best of the best, and it would be really fun to see them in a Super Bowl.
Very much so. It would be a lot of fun to see them in the Super Bowl. To a certain extent, I understand why Dan Campbell went for that, but at the same time, maybe he shouldn't have went for that.
Too much time left. Too much time left with 7 point, or I think it's 7% chance. That's how much it's happened this year. There was still a ton of time. You kicked that ball deep. I know your defense is struggling.
Is not stopping.
Your defense is struggling, but it's a 7% chance. The chances of that are just so astronomically low. And what Mac Hollins grabbed the ball and ran all the way down the sideline. It really just immediately put them down another 7 points, and they were able to claw back, but they ran out of time.
Yeah, they ran out of time. But you know what? At the same time, the Lions showed me something. Even scoring that last touchdown, they'll fight you to the end.
Oh yeah,
whether they can win or lose. And that is definitely a representation of their head coach. They will just keep fighting. They will keep fighting. They will keep fighting.
Sure.
And that I respect about the team, and that I respect about the head coach.
Yeah.
The fact that Goff had almost damn near 500 yards, 5 touchdowns. St. Brown was absolutely amazing. 14 receptions, 193 yards and a touchdown. It was a great game. It was a fantastic game. But Josh Allen just showed it's it's my world, and everybody just happens to be living in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's the front runner for the MVP by quite a wide margin.
Yep.
And looking like if he doesn't have any huge games where he throws 3-4 picks, I think he's a shoo-in to get his first MVP this year. As I mentioned earlier, the Lions were hit by the injury bug again. David Montgomery sprained his knees, has to have surgery, gone for the year. That's tough, losing one of their key backfield guys. They also had injuries to Alim McNeil, their defensive tackle. He got his knee blown out, torn ACL, out for the season. They lost a couple of cornerbacks. Carlton Davis III fractured his jaw, had to have surgery today, out indefinitely. Their other cornerback, Khalil Dorsey, had an ankle injury, lost for the season. That puts 16, maybe 17 guys on the injured reserve, most of them on the defensive side. So I don't know. The Lions just might not survive this. They might not. You got to have some semblance of a defense, and you're
Yeah.
trying to pick guys off practice squads. You're trying to bring guys off the street. You're trying to make trades. I don't know if there's enough band-aids to, possibly fill that many spots that are open from injuries.
The boat's too leaky.
Yeah.
Too many holes. Too many, like just way too many holes. Like I don't know if any defense has ever been decimated like this in any season. Like it's just one thing after another, after another, after another. But at the same time, the Lions are still fighting. Like like at the same time, like they're still in these games. So
Yeah.
But going forward, can the Lions like go all the way to the promised land where your offense is absolutely ridiculous, but you have no defense? I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they're in trouble. I think they're in big trouble, and
Yeah.
unless they decide, okay, we're going in all in this year, we're trading all of our draft picks.
Yeah.
We're gonna just mortgage the future for tonight, today, this year, and try to bring in some talent that way. It's gonna be brutal and hard, and I don't see it happening. So,
Yeah.
the Vikings were able to win tonight. 30-12 over the Bears. I'll get to them in a second, but Vikings improved to 12-2, sit now tied with the Lions up at the top of the division and the conference. So we'll see how that battle goes down the stretch. See whose strength of schedule is a bit better, but I would fade the Lions a little bit now. Just way too decimated. You said it.
Yeah.
I doubt there's many teams that have ever seen this much of a rash of injury.
No. I don't think it's ever happened like that. Like just and especially it's not even balanced. It's just on the one side of the ball. Like where it's just like Aiden Hutchinson was first, but nobody knew that was foreshadowing for your entire defense.
Yeah.
It's just gonna just be wiped out. Yeah.
Lions should have a pretty easy game against the Bears this coming Sunday. Bears sit 4-9, 4-10 now, and that's the early window. The Bills host the Patriots Sunday, also an early easy game. So the Vikings were able to get that victory. Sam Darnold only had one touchdown. That's a down game for them. Threw 230 yards, but they got touchdowns from Aaron Jones and Cam Akers on the ground. Justin Jefferson, it was a beautiful touchdown pass I saw earlier. Addison had another decent game. Hawkinson too, and that was enough for them. On the Bears side, Tyson Bagent came in at some point, but Caleb Williams, not the greatest game. Less than 200 yards passing with one touchdown, and nothing on the ground. Their top guy was Keenan Allen with the touchdown, 6 catches for 82 yards. DJ Moore also had 8 catches for 46, and DeAndre Swift had 19 carries for 79 yards, but not nearly enough there. And the Vikings go to 12-2. The Bears fall to 4-10.
Yeah. That's yeah.
Okay. Now let's talk about the NFC South. The Bucks have I think the Bucks, they say they clinched their division. The Bucks are 8-6. Falcons are playing tonight. I'll update that in a second. The Falcons sit at 6-7. Saints are 5-9, and the Panthers 3-11. The Bucks got a very convincing 40-17 win over the Chargers. They outscored LA 27-0 in the second half. Baker Mayfield was great. Mike Evans had another phenomenal game. Bucky Irving, your guy, had another big day. And they were able to just absolutely blow the Chargers out of the water in the second half. And they sit in the number 3 seed currently for the playoffs. And and firing on all cylinders right now, beating a tough Chargers team.
Yeah, they beat the tough Chargers team. It was close in the first half. Obviously, I believe it was tied until the Buccaneers just said, "Yeah, you know what? I think we're good. I think it's time to win this game and blow them out." And
Yeah.
it wasn't even close. It wasn't
No.
even close, man. Mayfield was awesome, 4 touchdowns, 288 yards. Evans, his man, 9 receptions, 159 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, the Buccaneers were dominant in this win.
Despite the loss, Herbert was able to get a couple of milestones. He became the third youngest quarterback in history to reach 20,000 career passing yards. He threw a pick in this game. It was his first interception in 357 attempts. That's the 5th longest streak in NFL history. Yeah, they just weren't able to get going. Unfortunately, still sitting, unfortunately, with the loss, tough, but they're still sitting in the playoffs. They're in the 7th seed, last seed of the AFC playoffs. They host the Broncos on Thursday, and the Broncos are sitting in the 6th seed, Chargers in the 7th seed. Whoever wins this really has a inside track and a good chance to make the playoffs for good. So huge game Thursday. I don't like Thursday games, but I definitely will be watching that one.
Yeah, I'll definitely be watching that too because, well, that's our Chargers going up against the plucky Denver Broncos.
Yeah, exactly. As I mentioned earlier, the Bucks go to the Cowboys, the Sunday nighter. Okay, as I said, the Falcons sit at 5 or 6 and 7 heading into this game, and just going to give you a quick update on that game. We're right near the end of the game here. 10 seconds left. The Raiders have the ball. Where is it? Oh, it's on the Atlanta 35-yard line. So maybe 2 plays for the Raiders. Currently, Falcons are up 15-9 in the game, and the Raiders are trying their best to pull out the win. Maybe they can get half of that yardage in one play and then try to get into the end zone, or they're going to go 2 chances at the end zone. But I'll try to give you an update once it finishes. But 15-9 for your Falcons over the lousy Raiders. Not the most amazing performance, but they are winning. Oh, it's down to 2 seconds left. So 1 play left. 1 play left. You got to sweat out
Right.
1 more play.
Oh man, I'm just so happy. Like, obviously it was an exciting game, 15-9.
Yeah, we didn't miss much there, did
No,
we?
we did not. No, we did
Kirk Cousins, amazing game. 112 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That's the first touchdown pass he's had in about 3 or 4 games.
not.
Like,
4 games, yes.
he had, like, what did he have? 5 or 6 picks, no touchdowns the last few games. Like, oh man, it was rough.
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson had a good game with 22 carries, 125 yards. And let's see. Desmond Ritter was the guy for the Raiders, and half decent game. Nothing earth-shattering, but what does it show? It shows the Falcons have the ball, so maybe they picked it off, or
Okay.
I think
Whatever.
it might be over. Let's see. Yeah, it's final. It is over.
Okay.
Your Falcons are now 7 and 7 on the season, and still have a chance, I guess, at that top. I think I misspoke because I don't think the Bucks are in there for sure because the Falcons are just 1 game behind them, so they might still have a chance at the playoffs.
Yeah, they might still have a chance. I just, it doesn't look good though.
No,
It doesn't look good
no.
because Cousins is not playing well enough. It just isn't.
No, I don't know what's wrong with him, but he's really not. Yeah, that's been tough there. Okay, AFC East. We don't have very many games in the AFC, but let's talk about the AFC East. Bills ended up clinching their division, blowing the competition away. They sit at 11 and 3. Dolphins sit second at 6 and 8. The Jets are third, 4 and 10, and the Patriots last in the division, 3 and 11. The Dolphins lost a heartbreaker, 20-12 over the Texans. Texans defense was really, really big. They forced 4 turnovers, knocked out a couple of Miami's receivers, and were really pretty damn dominant on the defensive side. It was tough to see Grant DeBose
Yeah,
taken
that was
off on a
tough.
stretcher. They had to cut off his uniform, his
Jersey.
helmet. Yeah, that was a little scary. He was down there for a long time on the field. I heard he spent the night in the hospital, didn't travel with the team. But I heard some positives today that he's responding well to everything, and they think he's going to be released very soon.
Good, good. That because that's it's always scary
Yeah,
when you see something like that happen, and the fact that he just didn't move for quite some time, then that's super concerning.
yeah,
But I always love the fact that there's the community of the players. They always take a knee. They say their prayers because they all know that that could be them
yeah.
at any point in time.
Sure
Any
could.
point
Yeah.
in time.
Yeah. CJ Stroud didn't have a great game, but did throw a couple touchdowns to Nico Collins. Collins didn't have much yardage, but nice to get in the end zone a couple times. This was a really tight game for both sides. Not a lot going on. Unfortunately for Tua, he was a little bit off. Threw 3 picks, 2 of them by Derek Stingley Jr. and Kalen Bullock had the other. Kalen Bullock was the guy that actually knocked out Grant DeBose, and so he had quite the impact on that game. They also lost Jalen Waddle during this game. He got hurt, and we'll see if it's very serious for them. But that was a tough loss for the Dolphins. They still have a chance at a playoff berth, but this was a really big setback.
Very big setback. They ran into the buzzsaw of the Texans defense, and they just got stymied. They couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
They literally couldn't do anything. So
Dolphins host the 49ers Sunday late window. Texans go to KC, and that's on the Saturday. There's Saturday games coming up this week, which will be fun. 2, 3, and 10 teams faced each other with the Jets and the Jags. Those Jets will pull out victories when it doesn't matter, and they look like world beaters there. Devontae Adams, what a game! Holy crap! But 200 yards with a couple of touchdowns, and Aaron Rodgers might have been his best performance of the season, and they were able to pull out the win. At times, it looked like the Jags were going to win, and then the Jets ended up coming back and getting the victory. Yeah, two brutal teams, but kind of evenly matched.
yeah, evenly matched. Rodgers had a great game. Almost 300 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. More importantly, though, he ran a little bit, moved around the pocket a little bit. 6 carries for 45 yards. I was just like, when was the last time I've seen you do that? Old man he still got some wheels, huh?
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yeah, like so I was impressed and surprised at that. So but the lowly Jags, like yeah, I feel sorry for the fans.
Yeah.
Really, I really do. I feel for the fans.
I feel sorry for so many of these number one quarterbacks coming out of college and getting to these horrible teams, horrible organizations. Like Mac Jones in college was phenomenal. He was a Heisman Trophy finalist and had a really phenomenal career, Alabama. And I thought, wow, this guy's going to do well. And he had a tough first step, and then he comes here, and Jags are no better. And yeah, it's rough for these very, very, very talented quarterbacks coming out of college, but they go to these organizations that really don't know how to build a winning team, and they struggle.
No, they absolutely struggle, and that like it starts from the top down. Like if the organization is poorly run, then it's like the team's just not going to do very good.
No. The Jets host the Rams Sunday early window. The Jags head to Vegas, and that's the later window. Okay, AFC West, the Chiefs won and were able to clinch the division. They sit in a very good spot to win the entire conference. 13-1. Broncos sit in a playoff position, as I said. They're sitting in second place, 9-5. Chargers also in a playoff position. 3 teams in the AFC West in playoff positions currently. Raiders sit at 2-12 now in the basement. Chiefs were able to squeak out a 21-7 victory over the Browns. And Patrick Mahomes' hurt ankle is the biggest concern for any Chiefs fans and anybody that follows this team. They will only go as far as Mahomes will take them. They were able to squeak out this win, but lots of concern there, I'm sure, in Kansas City and Chiefs land. If he can't recover from this high ankle sprain soon, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough. And as you just said, high ankle sprain, it takes a while to recover from. It just does. And if he's not available for the playoffs with the way that the Chiefs have been winning so far this regular season, they're not going any farther without that guy. They absolutely need him in the playoffs if they want to win. All right, first and foremost. And also, too, with this game against the Browns, I think the Chiefs felt very comfortable because Jameis Winston, he'll sling that thing. And it doesn't matter where it goes. You can kind of count on him for a couple interceptions.
Yeah, he got benched again because he threw 3 picks, and so they put in DTR again. But yeah, he just doesn't learn. He will not learn his lesson. He's a gunslinger and will go down with the ship. And yeah, he's fun to watch, but not for the coach.
Not for the coach at all.
Has to just keep consoling him every time he throws another pick. Man, it's crazy. The thing I feel most sad for the Browns, though, is that Nick Chubb broke his foot, gone for the season. This guy can't catch a break, and man, after missing so much time, he was coming back playing great, and bang, goes down again.
At least for this particular injury, it's just the broken foot.
Right.
So he can make a full recovery. Like, because last year, that knee injury was devastating. It was so bad that I'm like, I don't know if he can come back from
Might be career threatening.
That might be it. But he's extremely resilient, sturdy, and he obviously has the will of a champion. He'll be back. He'll be back. The one play that was kind of concerning in this game, I don't know if you saw it, when Myles Garrett went down.
Oh yeah.
Because he got poked in the eye.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that was
when that happened, I was thinking to myself, why don't more NFL players have face shields, actually?
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Seems
just to prevent
like
the possibility from that even happening. You know what I mean?
Well, do you remember when that referee threw the flag and it hit the guy in the eye and blinded him? Yeah, like
that's right.
Yeah,
he did get
he never played again. He never played football ever again.
That's right. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, what a way to end your career. It's like, how'd your career end? Oh, ref threw a flag in my face, in my eye, lost the eye.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, brutal. Yeah, so brutal. Yeah, I think I would wear a shield there for sure. Yeah, might as well. It's not going to change much of your vision, I'm sure. The other news that came out of KC was that they waived their former first-round pick Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That was quite surprising that he's fallen that far out of favor and no longer needed there. Both Hunt and Pacheco, have taken over, and Samaje Perine. But yeah, how the mighty have fallen sometimes in running backs. Maybe he'll get picked up by somebody else and be able to light them up and have a good second part of his career. We'll see. Chiefs host the Texans Saturday, and the Browns go to Cincy Sunday. Okay, we got the Broncos game. The Broncos currently sit in a wild card spot, number 6, as I mentioned. 4 wins in a row, and really they owe this win to Jonathan Taylor. The Colts were up 13 to 7, 13 to 6, and Taylor grabs the ball, starts running for the end zone. Just as he's about to cross the goal line, he drops the ball. It rolls out of bounds. Touchback, Broncos ball. He just needed to take one more step into the end zone. It's a touchdown. It's 20 to 7. Changes the entire complex of this game, and such a boneheaded move. I've talked about Anthony Richardson being the dumbest player you know, is he trying to match him with a dumb move? It happened in another game, and I'm going to mention that after this game. But how stupid! Like, why would you do that? Why would you even take the risk? Just drop it, hold on to it, get through the end zone, and then get rid of it. It was unbelievable, and I think it changed the game. I think the Colts possibly win this game if he scores that touchdown.
Yeah, because like I remember I watched this on the highlights and I was just like, wait, what just happened there? Why am I not seeing the points up on the board? So I had to go back and look at it on YouTube and go, what the heck just happened? And then find out, oh, he pulled a Deshaun Jackson. Oh, I've seen that before.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Now, Jonathan Taylor is smart. He's a smart NFLer. I'm gonna give him a little bit of leeway, just like yes, he had a brain fart. Like maybe he thought he was actually in the end zone when he wasn't in the end zone. I don't know how you think that, but maybe that's what he thought. Like I couldn't believe that. And you're absolutely right. I think that totally changed the complexion of the game.
Yeah.
They probably would have won if he had scored. And then he opened the door for the Broncos to take the win.
The other boneheaded move was the play calling by Shane Steichen that led to what they called a 50-yard fumble return for a touchdown. It was basically a pick six. So quarterback Anthony Richardson hands it off to the running back. Running back runs it over. He's about to throw it back to Richardson.
Yeah.
And he just grabs it, runs it into the end zone, another 7 points. So I'm like, oh my God, how can the Colts be making these big mistakes? This is unbelievable. That just handed them 7 points, and they were marching at the time, and it was such a terrible play call. It was outrageous. Just threw it right to the guy.
Yeah, I threw it right to the guy. As the play was developing, I was just like, oh, this looks pretty cool, except for that part. He took it to the house, and it was just good on him to read the play and know exactly what was going to happen. Bad on the running back to actually just follow through. You should have just ran with it.
Yeah. Should have not thrown it back there. It was pretty bad. So so some boneheaded moves gave the Colts a loss and possibly dropped them out of the playoffs. They're not mathematically eliminated yet, but in precarious position, sitting at 6-8. The Instagram you sent me of the 2004 Colts team, when they just had all those weapons. Peyton Manning. Oh my God, the numbers everybody had on that team were just amazing. I bet you all the Indy fans just sure wish it could go back 20 years to 2004 and they could get that team going again. The numbers were just incredible what they showed on that post. I was stunned. I had to look at it a couple times and go like, seriously, everybody had over 1,000 yards in that and lots of touchdowns. And oh man, that was an amazing team. What a team.
And even their third wide receiver, Brandon Stokely, 10 touchdowns.
Yeah.
10 touchdowns that season.
Harrison had over 1,000 yards, 15 touchdowns. And
Reggie Wayne.
You said Stokely, 10 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards. He had even their running back, Edgerrin James had 2,000 scrimmage yards with 9 touchdowns, 1,550 rushing yards. Peyton Manning had 4,557 passing yards with 49 touchdowns. And Reggie Wayne had 77 catches for 1,210 yards and 12 TDs. Like, wow. Oh, man, that's unbelievable. I forgot they were that prolific with that many weapons. Oh, my God.
Sorry, Colts fans. I know that we went down memory lane here, and now you just feel so much bitter. It's just like, why are these guys doing this? Why are you doing this to us? Why are you pouring salt in the wound like
really
that?
rubbing salt in the wounds? Yeah.
Really rubbing it in. Really rubbing it in.
Brutal. Holy crap. Yeah. Colts host the Titans, so not a tough test on Sunday. The Broncos go to the Chargers Thursday, as I mentioned. And we're into the last game here, final game on the schedule. AFC North, we had the Bengals improving to 6-8 on the season, beating the Titans 37-27. AFC North, Steelers, as I said, they're sitting first with 10-4 record. Ravens second, 9-5. Bengals third, 6-8, and the Browns last at 3-11. Canadian Chase Brown had a really great game with two touchdowns, one through the air, one on the ground. Burrow had a great game. Burrow just putting up phenomenal numbers this year. Absolutely incredible. For a 6-8 team, it's insane the numbers that he has. I feel sorry for the guy. He needs a defense, and they'd be a playoff team for sure.
Yeah, if he had a defense, they'd be they'd definitely be a playoff team, because not only is he putting up numbers, so is Jamar Chase. He's having a fantastic season, and it's wasted effort. Like, it's just like, it's fantastic. So I think I know what the owners and what the GM and the head coach are going to be trying to do. Improve that defense.
Yeah.
Don't waste these men's effort, because Joe Burrow's had probably statistically his best season in the NFL, and it didn't count for nothing.
Didn't do nothing, yeah.
No.
What they have to do is they have to try to get the Titans on the schedule like 3, 4, 5 games. They were able to pick off the quarterbacks 4 times in this game. Yep. Will Levis threw 3 picks, and Mason Rudolph threw 1. Will Levis, like, oh man, this guy is bad. Like, he is horribly bad. Benched again, and man, I don't know if I'm giving him any more shots. He is just so brutal. It is ridiculous, and yeah, you're not going to win any games with Levis there. It's insane how bad he is, and I think they should move on. The thing that stands out for me most about this Titans game was did you see the fumble recovery by their lineman? His name is Tavondre Sweat. Okay. Levis fumbled the ball, and he saw it, picked it up. The guy's 6'7", 362 pounds, I think they said. And he starts running with the ball, and he just stiff arms some Bengals guys just out of the way. And they were just goosh, falling flattened. And he's just running down the field, just shoving guys out of the way. It was one of the coolest plays all week, all season. It was awesome to watch.
Yeah, it was awesome to watch, and that was their Titans. That was their moment. That was their moment of the season, where it just says, like, this is what we get to cheer for, because we can't win games.
No. And as I mentioned in the game before, Jonathan Taylor dropping the ball. Jordan Battle, the Bengals safety, ended up picking up a fumble recovery himself, running towards the end zone, and he started to try to adjust the football for some reason just before he crossed the goal line, and it fumbled, and it ended up going out through the back of the end zone, touchback, and he didn't get credit for the touchdown either. Kind of a bonehead crappy move. It just sort of slipped out of his hands just 1 yard too soon, and it was crazy to see that happen twice on the same weekend.
Yeah, it was crazy to see that, because I'm sure he's now thinking to himself, I should have just kept it in that arm. Should have just kept it there.
Yeah.
Happens.
As I mentioned, the Bengals host the Browns Sunday, and the Titans go to the Colts. And the AFC South, no games to talk about. We've talked about all the teams, but the Texans lead. They clinched their division. They sit at 9-5. Colts are second at 6-8. Jags and the Titans last 3-11. So that's the NFL story. It's nice that we get a good Thursday game. We get some good Saturday game. Lots of good Sunday games. It's going to be a fun weekend ahead, and lots of great games. We got those 2 Christmas Day games. We got a lot of good games coming up through the holidays.
Oh no, yeah, we got a lot of NFL football. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be great. It's going to be very entertaining.
Yeah,
lot to watch.
We've went pretty long, so we're gonna have to cut the UFC bit short, but let's just break down the UFC on ESPN 63. Fight night out of Tampa, Florida. Main event had Joaquin Buckley coming in on a 5-fight winning streak, fighting Colby Covington. The best thing I can say about Colby Covington is he sure knows who to pick to come into the cage with him. He had
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan and Chael Sonnen on his right and his left, and pretty impressive entrance to the arena. Lots of USA and American flags and everything like that. And he couldn't utilize that to bring him in and improve his performance enough to beat Buckley. Buckley was the better man on this night, even though it was stopped because of a cut that got pretty bad. He was still on the road to defeat. Buckley was battering him, beating him up badly in every way possible. And yeah, it's time for Buckley to keep rising and Colby to keep dropping. This might be one of the last times we see Colby. I don't think he's ever contending for a title ever again. And but Buckley, I can't say the same thing about him. I think the
He's on the
sky's
rise.
the limit for him. I think he has a real legitimate shot to be a champion one day.
He was like the greatest thing that Covington did in this fight was his entrance. And then that's where it ended.
That was it.
That's literally where it ended. Buckley dominated every aspect of this fight.
Yeah.
He dominated it. Like I remember at one point in time, I think it was in the third round when it was eventually stopped. I don't know what analyst said. It's like, man, that's a lot of blood. Look how deep and dark red that blood is. Like they were more concerned about the fact, like, I think it's gonna get stopped. Like he's bleeding way too much, right?
Yeah.
And he was bleeding a lot.
Sure.
Like
yeah.
It was
distracted
ridiculous.
the hell out of him. Like immediately, I think he felt it, and he just kept pawing at it. He was very distracted by it, and it was bleeding a ton. And the doctor, I think, overreached a bit, saying, "Oh, he could lose his eyelid
or eye or whatever."
But I think if that fight happens in Vegas, it doesn't get stopped that soon. But the doctor was acting on caution. She didn't like what she was seeing. It was an ugly, nasty cut, and it was bleeding a ton. But to me, I thought it was an early stoppage for that purpose. But I don't think Colby had a way to win this fight. I don't think. I think if it kept going on, he was just going to get beat up a lot worse.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. I thought it's like, like Dana White thought the same thing. If this fight's in Vegas, this fight doesn't get stopped. And I'm like, does it matter? Because like for me, I don't think there was any way, shape, or form that Colby was going to turn it around and beat Buckley. It was not going to happen. He was just going to take more damage, and that eye was going to get progressively worse as the rounds wore on.
Chael Sonnen was in his corner, and he said he was actually going to throw in the towel if the doctor didn't stop it at that time. He said, I had the towel in my hand, and I was just waiting. And if she, proceeds, go ahead, keep fighting. I was throwing in the towel and calling it. It wasn't his night. It wasn't our night, and it was time to just move on and fight another day.
Yeah, and you know what? I was pretty impressed when I heard that from Chael Sonnen when he said that, because I was just like, you know what? That's a good cornerman. That's a man that's protecting and looking out for his fighter and knowing that this is definitely not your night. There's no need for more punishment.
Yeah. Lots of guys are going to call out Colby because he's become that heel and he does sell tickets. There are people that love him. Lots of people hate him. He'll probably fight again if he wants to. It'll be, the bottom 10, maybe 10 to 15, down further. But Buckley, I want to look at. Who do you think's next? I started looking ahead. Buckley, and I think Buckley and Colby will switch from 9 to 6, 6 to 9. Buckley, number 6 now, is looking up at Sean Brady, number 5. He was able to beat Gilbert Burns, who sits number 8. He beat him in September. Brady called out Leon Cole and Ian Gary. Those are the 2 fights that he called out after his latest victory. And then we've got Jack Della Maddalena and Kamaru Usman sit number 3 and number 4 in the division, but they've got a fight against each other in February, I've heard. And then above him, Shavkat is fighting for the belt against Bilal at number 2, and then
Yeah.
you've got Leon Edwards at number 1. So maybe you put Buckley against Leon, and they fight the winner of the Shavkat Bilal Muhammad fight.
I like that actually. I like that because Leon's the only one that in the top that doesn't have a fight. So
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. And styles make fights. Those guys are gonna bang. That actually I like that. I
And
like
then
that.
I like Sean Brady against Ian Machado Gary. I think that would be a great fight to be that next contender guy, the next guy that moves up the ranks after Buckley does. And we'll see how soon Buckley wants to fight. But that's how the division looks like it's playing out, and lots of good fights coming up.
A lot of good fights coming up. Buckley didn't take a lot of damage in that fight, so I think he's good to go whenever the UFC wants him in there.
Only 4 performance bonuses handed out. Fight of the night, so 2 fighters. Cub Swanson, Billy Quarantino got the fight of the night. Both got 50K. Dustin Jacoby and Michael Johnson both had really good KOs. Both got 50K. Let's talk about them a little bit. I want to talk about that Cub Swanson Billy Q fight. You texted me and said, awesome fight, amazing. I'm glad that you didn't give me any other spoilers, but it was a legendary fight. Cub Swanson's always been one of my favorite guys. I think I mentioned this last week. One of those guys that's always in a battle. He's already in the Hall of Fame for one of the greatest fights of all time. And then he comes out at 39 years old here and still has it. Was able to get one of those highlight reel knockouts and decided between calling it a career right then and thinking about it for a few days. He's on his last fight, maybe, but pretty wild to see him still be able to do that. What do you think he should do? Is it better to walk away from a loss or a really nice win? What's the best way to retire from the UFC? Because that's such a great KO. Do you want to go out on a big KO like that when you still got it? Or is it better to walk away like those 3 guys did last week off of losses?
I think you walk away off a win.
Yeah.
Like I understand why he didn't do it right then and there because it felt so good and it felt like I still got something to give. And by the way, I think he's 40. I think he's in his 40s.
40 now.
But and so I understand that. I get it. But at the same time, I remember when Jordan hit that shot and called it a career.
Yeah. Came back.
That's the way that you want to be immortalized. Right. That's the way that you want to go away from any sport. I don't care who you are. That's the way that you want to be remembered.
Sure.
I think Cub will talk to his lovely wife, and his wife said, I think you've given the sport enough. I think you're good.
Yeah.
Right? And I think he's good. I feel very honored with the mere fact that I was able to watch this man perform and give his all every single time he stepped in the octagon. Every single time. So I think for myself, if I was him, I'm calling it a career, man. Because that's one hell of a way to tie it all up.
Yeah. He's been awarded post-fight bonuses 17 times. He's 41, so you're right. He's in his 40s, 41 years old, 17 post-fight bonuses, and I guess it's you're right about Michael Jordan, but I'm telling you, the day that I heard Michael Jordan was coming out of retirement to play with the Wizards. It was September 11th, 2001. And that was a day that will go down in history for the rest of the world. It was one of the greatest days of my life, hearing that Jordan was coming back and I was getting an opportunity to see him play again. Because I felt like he probably still had more to give. And he did. So, and how many kids, how many dads, how many fans, how many more people got an opportunity to see Jordan again,
Yeah.
and how much more did that, help the world, in my opinion, of basketball fans that didn't get to see him play live, didn't get an opportunity, and realizing, holy shit, he's back. I can go again and see it. I'm so happy that he came back. And you're right, that was iconic. He's standing there for another
Yeah.
couple of seconds after he sunk that shot against the Jazz, and
Yeah.
they had won their sixth championship. It was classic and amazing, but you're still going to be able to remember that, and you're
Yeah.
still going to be able to remember that last part too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like at the end of the day, it's up to the athlete on how they
Yeah.
want to write their own story, right?
Yeah.
It is truly up to the athlete on how they want to write their own story. I'm just saying, you can't really write it any better than that
Yeah.
if you want to call it a career.
That was an amazing walk-off knockout.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes, it
Yeah,
was.
incredible. What a shot. Just perfectly placed,
Perfect.
exactly shut his lights out, and amazing. I will miss Cub Swanson. If we've seen him for the last time, congratulations on a fantastic career. Love you. Can't wait to have you on a podcast one day to talk about all the amazing memories that you've given me and given my friends and family and people that watch it. You are an amazing ambassador for the sport. You've been fantastic. I hear that you're a great coach, and you'll be able to mentor a lot of great young guys into the sport, and onwards and onwards. But yeah, I want to see you fight just a couple more times. Come on, just a couple more. Please. Yeah. Okay, let's whip into the star boy, Manel Cape victory. He also got a beautiful TKO win. Really nice to be able to finish off. Uh, Really good. Was able to drop him with an elbow. He kicked him in the groin, and he responded by sort of falling back a little bit and trying to complain
Yeah.
to Keith Peterson, and
It
then
wasn't happening.
Cape just jumped on him and landed an
Swarmed.
elbow that finally dropped him,
Yeah.
and the fight was called off. He had already taken 3 groin strikes himself and an eye poke at the
Yeah.
same time as one of them.
Yeah.
1 point was taken away, and so I think Keith Peterson just had enough. And
Yeah,
was
he was
just
just like,
like,
yeah.
oh, well, okay,
No.
sorry, buddy, you deserve it. You kicked him 3 times. He got you once. Too bad. See you later. Fight over. And that was it. It was funny.
I was gonna give Keith No Nonsense Peterson the benefit of the doubt because I don't know if he was positioned to see
Probably
the low
didn't.
blow.
No,
But
he
at
didn't
the
see
same
it. He
time,
didn't see it. No.
yeah, but at the same time,
No.
I'm just like, even if he did, and if he just goes, I didn't see that, I'm okay with it. I'm good with it because
Yeah.
it was kind of egregious. Like Silva's like, yeah, control your weapons, man. You hit the guy in the groin 3 times.
Yeah.
3 times? Yes, of course he should have a point taken away. But Cape, he had it going on. He looked absolutely fantastic. I love the fact that he was screaming in Dana White's face, like, give me my title shot. Give me my shot. Like, I love that. You're not getting a title shot, by the way. But whatever. If we get to see that version of Cop going forward, he'll get his title shot soon enough.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he doesn't deserve a title shot quite yet, but yeah, we'll see. Who they're gonna face him off against. He said "F you" to Kai Kara France, "F you" to Adesanya, same to Pantoja. Wants him. He fought Pantoja already, and Pantoja beat him. But let's see where he lands. Could be France, could be Emir Albazi, Brandon Moreno, Brandon Royval, Tatsura Tora, could be anybody in that sort of vein there. Yeah, he looked really good. Super fast, incredibly great movement, powerful shots, was just landing so much to all 3 quadrants, and head shots, body shots, leg shots, everything was on point, and I was very impressed with him. The other 50K went to Dustin Jacoby, Factory X, and great game plan. Lots of boos during the fight because there wasn't a ton of engagement. Both guys were very, very cautious, not wanting to get hit with either shot. Vitor Petrino it looks like an absolute beast. The guy
Yeah.
looks so freaking powerful that if he hits you with a clean shot, you're going out.
No.
Jacoby and Factory X, Mark Montoya used a great game plan and were able to just wait for that shot. And
God.
when it opened, he didn't miss. It was a laser shot to the chin that just dropped Petrino, ended this fight. An awesome, awesome, awesome performance that, I got to give tons of props to Jacoby for taking this fight against one of the scariest looking dudes that you're going to see and taking him out with a huge, incredible shot.
Because Jacoby has the skills. He has the skills, but at the same time, Petrino look like a goddamn monster. All right, he looked like a monster.
Yeah.
And the fact that I believe he got that knockout with like a minute left in round 3, I was literally walking away going, yeah, the fight's over. Okay, Petrino won. And then all of a sudden, I hear this, I'm like, wait, what? And just to see Jacoby land one of the cleanest right hand KOs that I've ever seen. Like, it was so perfect, pristine, clean. It was like, and so he epitomized right at that point in time for me. Never give up on yourself. Always know that there's always a chance.
Yeah.
There's always a chance to come back in any fight.
No, I loved it. It was an amazing shot. And he had recently also lost his coach and one of his coaches, a good friend of his too. Factory X has been hit with some guys. They had Anthony Smith retire a couple weeks back, and it's been a bit tough for him, but great to see him keep with it, stay with it, not get himself overcommitted to anything, and losing. He was able to just land one of the most beautiful clean shots, walk-off KO that you've ever seen. So yeah, it was fun. There was some really spectacular knockouts on this card. I absolutely loved it. One of the candidates for the other fight of the night was Daniel Marcos against Adrian Yanez. And this was a really nice battle. Great bantamweight matchup. Marcos was just a little bit better on the night, but both of them were super game. I really love this fight. Marcos stays undefeated, but Yanez was very game. I thought it was an incredibly great fight, and it could have easily got fight of the night if Cub didn't do what he did with Billy.
Absolutely. It easily could have had fight of the night. I thought it was close enough that if Yanez had his hand raised too, I'm okay with that as well. It was very, very, very close fight. I think Marcos literally just edged him out with volume, being busy, diversity of strikes, all of that stuff. But it was a great fight to watch. Very technically a great fight to watch too as well.
Yeah, it was a split decision. It easily could have went Yanez's way. It was very close, but I thought Marcos won. But yeah, it was an awesome fight. I enjoyed it a ton. The light heavyweight fight at the beginning of the card wasn't terrific because both guys, to me, just don't seem to be upper echelon. Tukos came in, I think, pretty last minute. Really sort of limited in a lot of his weapons. Tough as hell. Took a lot of abuse, but tough as hell. Navajo Sterling, new guy on the block, UFC debut. Only 5 fights coming in. He looks like if he can put this together, he looks like a scary guy and has the potential for a ton of great things. We'll see what he brings to the future. But yeah, both guys seem a bit limited at this point right now.
Yeah, like for me, Sterling was obviously the better at the stand-up, and Tukos, I thought the only chance he had was to try to get it to the ground, but even when he did, Sterling was able to pop back up, and then all of a sudden now Tukos is, it's like, well, I guess that's it for me. I guess I lose. So, Sterling definitely won this fight. Looked great while doing it. I really enjoyed his stand-up. I think once he works on his overall game, I think he's going to be a real problem for the division.
Yeah. The other 50K bonus went to Michael the Menace Johnson, feature fight on the prelim. Another one of those perfectly placed shot right on the chin, knocked out Ottoman Azatar. Great to see Michael Johnson still relevant. He's getting up there, close to 40 years old himself. And yeah, it was just as crisp and clean as the Jacoby shot,
Yeah.
just perfectly placed, just overhand right that just hit the button and ended the night for Izatar.
Yeah, like you kind of forget that Michael Johnson still has that power, still has that pop in his shots. And if you can land one clean, it's all over for you. All
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. Joel Alvarez also got a really spectacular KO victory. The weird thing was he knocked Jakar Close off of balance, and then he
Yeah.
went in and he sunk in a guilotine, and then he just used his other hand to just bash him into submission.
But he was already out.
He was out for a while there. It seemed like he might have got choked out by the guillotine, but he just made sure by bashing his face for about a half a minute there,
Yeah.
and was able to get the win. Pretty impressive performance by Alvarez, and this guy's a lethal killer. He took a
Oh,
little while to get going, but once he hits the holy cow, he's got power.
yeah, he's got power. The knees, the jumping knees were very effective. I thought Close got knocked out from the jumping knee, and then when he sunk in the guillotine with the one arm, like he was already out. Was
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna make sure.
Yeah, maybe he got KO'd from the knee before it, maybe, yeah, because he seemed like he was kind of limp quite quickly, and I was like, holy cow, wow, he's just beating a dead man already. Yeah.
And I think he may have even given a side look at the ref, going, I don't think he's moving, man.
Yeah. You might want to come over here.
You might want to come over and take a look.
Yeah. Another really good knockout, Sean Woodson. One of the strangest bodies that you're ever going to see in your life when you look at him. Crazy long legs, weird looking body, but it works in this featherweight division. So tall, lanky, and power. Was able to really get a beautiful KO. He was able to land an uppercut, dropped him with a left hook, a couple of ground shots, and Jason Herzog came in, stopped the onslaught. He should have got 50K, I think. It was a very impressive finish.
Yeah, it was a very impressive finish. Woodson looked great. His boxing was absolutely on point, and Padilla seemed frustrated and confused about how he should continue to keep attacking Woodson, and whatever he came up with was not the right call.
Not happening, yeah. He's tied for the longest active win streak in the featherweight division at 8 with Movsar Evloev and Leron Murphy, and 13 1-1. Impressive. 3 wins in 2024, and 14 finishes out of 16 wins. Sky's the limit for Woodson in this division, I think. The rest were all decisions. Felipe Lima, a very, very good performance against a tough Miles John. Nice to see the Squamish girl, Jamie Lynn Horth, step in and fight Miranda Maverick. Maverick was supposed to fight somebody else, Tracy Cortez, but she couldn't fight. So nice to see our Squamish girl. I thought Jamie Lynn actually won the second round and had a possibility to win this fight if she could have taken the third round. Miranda ended up getting the fight to the ground, controlling it, and winning it in the end.
Yeah, Maverick looked good. She looked great. Her wrestling was on point, and that's what got her to win in that fight.
And the first fight of the night, Davy Grant ended up really dominating. I thought Ramon Taveras. He landed 3 times the shots that Taveras did. He was beat up too, because they both threw a lot of shots, but very, very, very nice performance by Davy Grant to get the win.
Yeah, great performance that David Grant showed the versatility of his game with the strikes, and he was by far and away the busier fighter out of the two.
And we don't have a fight card till January 11th, so our hiatus comes at a great time for all our mixed martial arts fans. We'll be able to enjoy our holidays. Won't have to be busy on our Saturday nights, and Yeah, January 11th. So yeah, almost a month off, and then we'll hit the ground running. 2025 is going to be even better than 2024, and I can't wait for Dana White's teaser. Something spectacular coming. You guys are going to be blown away by it, and I'm sure we're going to see tons of incredible action throughout the whole year.
Yeah, we're going to see that. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to the new year, but more importantly, looking forward to the food over the
Food.
holidays.
Yeah.
That's what I always look forward
to. Me too, man. Me too. Yeah. Can't wait. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for everything. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. I'm sure, I'll talk a little bit over the holidays, but thanks so much for always doing this. And yeah, have a great week ahead. Good luck with this new job. I'm glad it finally started. Excited for you. It's going to be really fun, and keep me updated at how it's going.
Definitely, we'll keep you updated. We'll definitely keep in touch as we watch sports for this week and the weekend. And always a pleasure.
Okay, buddy. All right, man. All right. Cheers. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
Take care. Talk soon. Okay, everybody. Thanks so much. I'm going to sign off for 2024. As always, appreciate all your support. Thanks so much for tuning in and being there for us. Thank you so much to our partners and sponsors. We couldn't do this without you, and we love you. And everybody have a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and yeah, all of you. We couldn't be happier that you've been there to support us and enjoying this content. And yeah, we're going to see it in 2025. We've got some exciting news too. We're kind of rebranding. We're going to come at you with some different things and a ton of exciting guests. So we'll see you in 2025. Love you. Take care of yourself, and bye for now.